Hello, beautiful people. We are back again. It's No Cooldown Podcast, episode 89. I am that man Tripp, and you're tuned into the smooth sound. Okay, no, we're not doing that. But you're here, we're here. It's time to talk about these games. Welcome back to No Cooldown, man. Getting close to that episode 100, man. I don't know. I got the mental note in my head. We're getting close to that. Make sure you show love to us on all of our social channels and stuff like that. Again, everywhere at No Cooldown Podcast except Twitter, which is No Cooldown Pod. At No Cooldown on YouTube itself, and again on all major audio podcast platforms, it's No Cooldown. It will be right there. You type that in, and if there's not, there's probably a typo. You know what I'm saying? Somebody might have stole it. I don't know who was doing that, but we put a lot of research into this damn name. At least I would think so. But we're here with our podcast partner in crime, Easy Winneth. Sir, how are you?
I'm good, man. Can't complain. New day, new start. You know, I'm here to talk about games.
I hear it, bro. You know what I'm saying? Everybody on that, at least on Al-Ghaib stuff, bro. That Dune. They on that Dune talk, bro. I'm like, I have not seen Dune yet. So I'm just, I feel out the loop like a mug, bro. I can't even lie to you.
I watched the first hour, mostly because we decided to start it at 10 p.m. for some reason.
Nope.
And I can say, at least for the first hour, I'm pretty interested. But I also see how Star Wars absolutely ripped these people off. Like, I'm only 1 hour in, and I'm like, damn, this man, George Lucas, ain't think of one goddamn thing. Like, he really just changed some shit up, simplified some shit. I can't hate the hustle, you know? It's like, but like, it feels like if you're somebody who plays League of Legends and you know anything about Dota, it's like, wow, these motherfuckers just like took all this shit, made it super accessible, which I guess, you know, works. Hey, I don't know. All I'm saying is I'm excited to see Dune because it feels like an advanced Star Wars to me.
Damn, I didn't even notice. I didn't know George was still like copying off the whole steez like that, bro. He said, "Let me see what your paper got. Let me see what you got, gang." Jason
Momoa is essentially what Oscar Isaac was in the new trilogy. It's like, oh, look, a cool pilot, and it's just, oh man, there's so much. When you watch it, you're gonna be like, if you're watching it as a Star Wars fan, you're gonna be like, damn. This is quite sad.
Hey, sad. Hey, what is that? What? No, son, that's insane. I'm all right. Now you prime me for that, I'm gonna start looking with that eye, bro. I'm like, all right, where the fuck did y'all start taking shit, bro? We'll figure it out, bro. That's hilarious. But we got a lot of news on the docket, so I don't want to keep y'all too long. But we got to get into this news. When are you ready?
Born ready.
Man, let's talk about it, man. First and foremost, we have a very, very interesting couple of main stories. But first, we wanted to touch on probably one of the biggest blunders in recent memory. And why does it always have to happen to Star Wars games? I will never know, but they're always at the forefront of this. And again, this time it's no different. Star Wars Battlefront Classic Collection did release over the past week. And we have had so much just vitriol, fire, and brimstone over this because Aspyr Media probably had one of the shakiest launches of an old game we've ever seen. Again, there was probably only like 3 servers that were available on opening night. Again, like 64 slots, about 200 players, but there were 10,000 people who bought, you know what I'm saying, who were into the game and bought the game on night one. $35, you know what I'm saying, a bunch of glitches, crashes, and all stuff like that. It was a whole bunch of problems that was, again, just registered and let through. Like, that's crazy to think, just off of the number count alone, with 10 to 20,000 people buying the game and only 192 were able to actually play it on opening night. That is insane. And from an old game like Battlefront Classic, it's wild to see. But just from that whole situation, what did you make of all the fiasco-ness, craziness?
I truly don't understand how y'all could fuck this shit up. That's just like it. What did you guys like? How much did it cost? I guess is the real question that I want to know. Like, the development of this game, how much was it to bring it, import it, and like do the little upgrades you did? Because I just feel like it's really hard to not call this a cash grab when the game is very similar to the base game that we got. It's not a rematch. It's not a remake. It's kind of a remaster. But even then, when you look at the game, you're kind of like, they didn't really do a lot to change it, right? Like, it's still very much the same models, maybe polished up a little bit. And then when you think that the main selling point of it's going to be online, it doesn't have more than 3 servers. That's suspicious. Like, it's hard to say that's not a cash grab when you're not really putting money towards it. It just feels like you just released the game on new servers, and I don't even like saying servers. It's only 3. You released a new game with 3 servers, and a lot of it is super janky. People are saying that the game is like, and of course it's a janky game, but not janky as in it was back then. It's like
you
the
made
game
it
doesn't
jankier.
work. Yeah, how do you regress something that came out in like 2004? Like it doesn't make sense. It is quite literally a cash. Like the Star Wars games at this point, outside of like Star Wars Survivor.
Yeah.
I mean, Jedi Survivor, they just feel like cash grabs. And maybe Ubisoft won't do the same thing with Outlaws. High hopes for Outlaws. It doesn't look like a bad game. But I am kind of getting sick and tired of the nostalgia money-making machine. I am low-key kind of happy I wasn't a huge Battlefront fan growing up, because I would have been super excited for this. And the disappointment is immeasurable, and I'm sure many days were ruined.
No doubt, bro. And again, just to add on to it, it just sucks that out of all the franchises that could have been, you know what I'm saying, the victim of so many blunders at this point, Star Wars had to be the one. You know what? Maybe it's again the force balancing out for so many weirdos in the Star Wars fan base. You know what I'm saying? And I'm not saying that from the outside in. I'm a Star Wars fan. I see a lot of y'all's weirdos. So it's tough to, you know what I'm saying, manage, but that's the force, I guess. But I don't know. It's just like the mishandling of so many things in all seriousness. The mishandling of so many things and so many properties is crazy. And again, Aspyr, I'm pretty sure they haven't, this isn't their first rodeo with messing things up. You know what I mean? Like, it's crazy. I don't think the KOTOR remake is theirs anymore. I think they got it taken off of them. It got pipped to, I think, somebody in Saber or whatever. They got transferred. Again, like there was like the DLC for KOTOR 2, and it was like, oh yeah, maybe it was on Switch or whatever, and they just didn't drop it after announcing it. They just, hey, like it's not coming, guys. I'm sorry. And after they literally said it, they're gonna put it out for the Switch, but whatever. That's another thing. And again, you have to think that a game that came out in the early 2000s literally, again, probably just needed, again, a graphical, you know what I'm saying, a little touch up, tune up, a couple optimization things, you know what I'm saying, make it crank at 60 frames per second or something like that on whatever platforms, solid,
If that.
you know what I'm saying, if that, just a little incremental changes to make it palatable in today's format and still give you, hey, this is the game that you all know and love. But you couldn't even do that. You couldn't even do any little quality of life things to jump on, you know what I'm saying, to help smooth it over in this day and age. You literally spent money to make a game worse from 2004. You know how hard that is to pull off? I applaud the difficulty achieved. You know what I'm saying? I applaud the difficulty of this, because how do you make a game that all you had to literally do was, again, put some servers up, make sure the game runs smooth, optimize it. You probably didn't even have to change like the graphics like that, like crazy, which by the looks of it, I don't think they really considered it, because I feel like the map was looking like crash test dummies for like 75% of his lifespan so far. Like, it's just ridiculous. It's ridiculous at this level how they can just drop that. And again, they've been working on updates to try and fix it, but somebody had to have said something, or somebody had to have said something in development, point blank period. Somebody's had to have said something in the development cycle of like, yo, this is not going to come out how you want. This is going to look rough. And again, I don't know what powers that be are pushing this through, but this needed to stop and really had a serious quality check before it even got pushed out the door. It's ridiculous. At this level, at this time, it's very, very ridiculous.
It doesn't really make any sense that this had gotten to this point. And it's truly annoying to see for a variety of reasons, but it's like in a world where there's so much controversy regarding games, things like this fly under the radar as opposed to a couple of other things that people feel like the need to be angry about.
Oh,
but
gosh.
hey,
don't even get me started on that shit again.
I guess you guys are fighting the good fight, because companies like this I fully see them getting another opportunity, without a doubt, without a shadow of a doubt. And the fact that I don't hear anybody from their team being like, yo, guys, stop being mad at us, stop harassing us. Like, it just shows like there are people actually doing cash grabs and doing the bad things that video games, that people in gaming believe are happening. And a lot of people just aren't doing anything about it. They're just like, whatever, you know, oh, yeah, cash grab type shit. It's just really stupid, and it's really annoying to see. especially
Yeah.
from such a beloved franchise like Battlefront. Like
Hmm.
that's something that I feel like a lot of people really loved growing
Bro.
up.
And again, like huh, I've been tuned out. I like the Battlefront series, and again, I played a little bit when I was younger. I wasn't like super into it like crazy, but again, it was solid when I played when I was young. But again, I like the newer Battlefronts kind of took me out of it because of how bad they were at launch
Yeah.
and stuff like that. Again, eventually the second one came around, but it was still too little, too late. And this is just kind of like the sentiment of redemption art gaming. Like yo, like in some cases, yes, it's warranted. Like, because you can see the love that's put into it, you can see that there. But if people are fumbling out the gate over and over and over again, it's like, bro, is at this point, I'm not even for the. I'm not even saying at the dev level. I can't say that at the dev level because I don't know who's working on it like that. But again, from a decision making standpoint, did the people who's leading this charge on a project, do they care enough to stop and really take stock of, yo, this is not going to come out the way we want it day one. We don't, you know what I'm saying, that we might need to push this back or make a decision for the interest of the players to make sure they have the best experience off the rip. You know what I'm saying? Like, how much leeway can we give people when continually it's happened, mistake after mistake, bad decision after bad decision? Like, where's the line that we toe? And I feel like that's the question that's always going to be in flux for me, you know what I'm saying, in just the gaming space. Like what deserves redemption at this point, and what deserves, proper and just due, like, criticism. Like, hey, like, I don't know if I can support this because you keep making the mistake, or it keeps taking this, or you're not hitting the mark consistently. Like, where's the burden? You know what I'm saying? Where's the burden set on this conversation? That's just me though.
No, 100%. And I think it's very valid to ask that question of like, hey, what's going on? Are you guys going to fix this? And the issue is that, like, I just don't see it being a thing of like, oh, they're going to fix it. They have to, because at the end of the day, it's a game that I feel like was kind of designed just to make money, unfortunately. And I don't think it's the decision to make said game, I don't believe is on the studio, but you also have to wonder, like, do they have any part in this? Are they like, I want more transparency, but it's also hard for somebody to get on here and say, hey, like, as a company, it's hard for me to go on there and be like, yo, this was a fucking mistake. We fucked up, and it's this person's fault, whoever, this is the person who made the decision. But some kind of transparency would be nice along the lines of like, hey, we know we fucked up. This is what we're going to do to fix it. This is how we're going to make it right by the fans. But you don't really get a lot of that. A lot of the time, you're just going to get people ignoring the problem until it goes away, because there's a million games that release every day, and they're like, well, if I ignore this, who's gonna care?
Yeah. And again, to Aspyr's credit, they at least address that, hey, some shit's wrong, we're working to fix it. But I'm like, again, it's still like, how are you gonna rectify the situation past that? Yes, the fixes are there, but then like thousands of people just kind of lost out after you paid their hard-earned money. So people not even coming back after that. So it's like, again, it's just a constant ebb and flow of what is the right thing to do when things go wrong on day one. You know what I mean? It's just, it's never, there's never going to be one right solution for it. You know what I'm saying? There's a lot of wrong ones though. There's a lot of wrong ones, I'll tell you that much. But we can, but we can wrap that one up in a bow and move on to, the best collaboration game on the planet. Overwatch 2, ladies and gentlemen. Overwatch 2, they have announced some big plans for, again, what's coming up for them. And the biggest change is literally their formula, how they're approaching the game, because this time around, from this season on, Overwatch 2 players will get free access to all the game's previously released heroes. So they're not going to be locked behind a battle pass and extensive playtime anymore. All of them will be free on drop. This is a really big change to what they've been operating as since they've started Overwatch 2. They wanted to kind of pick that premium battle pass route where everything's kind of really locked behind, again playtime and the playtime and the battle pass for you to really get through and unlock more characters to expand your roster of what you can access. And this I feel like this signifies they really had to change it. I mean, I feel like they were really facing a serious, like, wrecking ball in their direction unless they course corrected. But when you are the Overwatch correspondent, I know nothing compared to you. Talk me through this. How do you feel about them opening, their hero base up to all players for free?
This is like the first step in them not becoming pay to win. And I know, like, the thing is that, how do I put it? their entire model of whole like, oh, you know, this game isn't pay to win. The new heroes are on a free tier of the battle pass. As somebody who's completed a battle pass, it takes like so long to get to level 50. It's not even funny. Like you have to play consistently. And every time a new hero drops, you can ask almost anybody who plays Overwatch, the character is most of the time broken. That character is not fun to play against, not fun to be on the same team with sometimes. Like it's like you either pick them or you lose. Like that's kind of like the way it works in Overwatch. So the fact that it took them this long to realize like, hey man, you know what? Maybe we shouldn't have people maybe we shouldn't have these heroes on the battle pass. Mostly because in the game like Overwatch, it's a hero shooter. And it's not like Apex a hero shooter where like, oh, if you pick, I don't even know if there are counters in Apex, but like, let's say, oh, like if you pick Bangalore and they have a Bloodhound, Bangalore isn't as useful, right? But Bangalore still gets to choose a variety of different weapons. Bangalore gets to have a better shield, grenades, outplays. Like there's still a lot of like, there's still a lot of variables in the game to make it so that even if you're being counterpicked,
you still have some utility.
Exactly, you could still succeed. If I knock the Bloodhound first, then the Bangalore on my team becomes a lot more efficient. Like it just makes sense. So when Apex is like, hey, we're gonna have people that you have to buy. It didn't matter to me as much because I knew that this headshot is still gonna crush whoever the fuck is on the enemy team. With Overwatch, it's not as simple. Characters do not have different tools that will make them better to their counterparts. And it's just kind of this transition from Overwatch 1 to Overwatch 2. Like the biggest example is if you look at a character like Reinhardt. If you don't know who Reinhardt is, he has like all of 3 moves. He can charge at you, he has a big ass shield, and he has a fire strike, which is a big ass wave of fire that he shoots vertically. The reason that Reinhardt isn't played as much is because a lot of his utility is just being, when he's a big ass shield, he can't attack. He's just standing there. When he uses his other abilities like charging or fire strike, he's no longer defensive for his team. He's just like a big body. When the new characters started coming out, they kind of had an archetype, but they also had a lot of utility in a lot of the things that they could do. Like they just had more, their kits weren't so linear. So when they got countered, even when you got countered, sometimes if one person switched to counter one other person, it's not enough, especially with tanks. And that's the thing that a lot of people that Overwatch I think doesn't understand is that with the newer characters, even when you counter to switch to stop them, like they're so strong and so broken that even 2 people switching sometimes isn't enough, because at the end of the day, they're just that strong. And the fact that they try to put these people behind a paywall makes it really, really annoying, especially when you're like, man, the only way I know I can beat this team right now is if we had the character that's at tier 50 on the battle pass. So you have 2 options. You pay $10 and get them right away, or you get to level 50. What they could have done, if they really wanted to keep them on the battle pass, you put it at tier 10. That's not hard to get to. You can make the argument, I could get shit on until I hit tier 10, but once I hit tier 10, I'm on the same type time as everybody else. The problem is that they put it at 50 and then expected people to grind that shit out. If I'm getting oppressed for 50 tiers, like you're smoking dope. Mauga dropped in December. That man didn't get patched until January. What am I supposed to do between those times? Just get shit on till I get tier 30, till I get tier 50? Why would I do that? It literally was that there were points in time when Mauga came out that people would literally like be losing games. And then they would type in the chat, all right, guys, this was fun. Switch to the character and the momentum shifted like that. And if my tank didn't have Mauga, like I didn't queue tank for that whole month because I didn't have the character. And if my tank didn't have Mauga, I'd be like, I couldn't even be mad at them because I'm like, bro, I didn't even pay for that shit. So how am I gonna be mad at you? Like the game is just kind of in a really shitty state. They don't have the agency for, they don't have the game for that. This isn't League of Legends. This isn't fucking Apex. You can't have a hero shooter that relies on counter picking and characters being available to everybody so that they can be competitive and then lock them behind a paywall. It is quite literally pay to win. And that's like one of the and the Overwatch monetization problem does not stop there, but that's where I will stop for this because it just didn't make sense for them to do it then. It's cool that they're doing it now, but they also need to understand that like this is after Overwatch lost its competitive league. The
Yeah.
player base is dwindling down. Their big ass fucking collabs have not been as well received as they would like to be. And after announcing that, they also announced that the next batch of PvE missions that fucking suck. The first couple, I bought the first couple. They are pretty boring. They're whack as fuck. They're not even sure when they'll ever release another batch because they're like, it's not our priority right now. I don't know what this game really has left to offer people. If you like the competitive hero shooter, that's great. Like if you want to grind it out, that's great. But this game is going to go down the same route that Apex has gone, which is like only the sweats are going to play it. Even the casuals who kind of get competitive, they're just like, I don't really want to play it anymore. And I have friends who've been playing it since season 1. As somebody who's been playing it from season 1, I used to play this shit all the time. I don't really care for it anymore. All of my friends who are casuals, who are not trying to be fucking shroud of Overwatch, we're kind of just like whatever about it. I'll keep up to date with it because I think it's cool, but it's in such a rough state, it's not even funny.
Yeah. And that kind of leads me to, I guess, just my basic question of what you think. Do you think that with this change, could this be a corner turn for Overwatch? Can it be redeemed in a certain way?
I think for Overwatch to be redeemed, it would require so much. And when I mean so much, I think it would be from a level that like Sean Spencer would have to be like, yo, I trust you guys to do whatever you want with this game. To the point where like, if this game died because you took risks, I'm okay with that. Like that's the level of like trust I would need to be put into this game, because so much needs to change that it's not even funny. The monetization needs to be a lot better. We can't sit here and pretend like $25 for a skin is fair. And I know what the people at Overwatch are thinking, like, well, it's not 25 for a skin, it's 25 for a skin bundle. You can't buy the skin by itself, so you have to go through the bundle. $25? Are you kidding me? I don't have that type of money for a game where if I pick the character with the cool skin, guess what happens? I get counterpicked and I can't play the character anymore. And $25 that I cannot use. I used to play, like I play Cassidy, right? If they have a really good Widowmaker, I can't use my $25 skin. Or I use my $25 skin and we get destroyed because I'm not counterpicking that character, or my team isn't counterpicking that character. You know what I'm saying? Like, yeah, it's not as valuable as you think. And I think that monetization for a lot of games needs to really be looked at, but Overwatch specifically, because you can't sit here and charge me an exorbitant amount of money for games that don't last that long. At least when I'm playing like League of Legends, if I spent $20 on a legendary skin, which is egregious, I'm in a game for 20 fucking minutes. 15 at minimum, I'm in the game. So I'm at least looking at this skin and I'm like interacting, I'm using my abilities, it's kind of cool. Yeah, Overwatch is a first person, you know what I'm saying? Overwatch is a first person game. I'm buying the skin for other people more than I'm buying it for myself, truly, like to be honest with you.
Trying to stunt for the hoes, bro. That's a bad outlook.
You know what I'm saying? Like you would have thrown that bundle out, you said $30, everybody and their mom would have bought that shit for $30. Like the whole bundle. But they're like, nah, we can't do it for that low amount of money. And it's like, bro, then like I'm sorry, but you're not that guy right now. You're not that guy. Like fucking Fortnite will drop a $20 skin, but that's Fortnite. That shit is gas. I can put fucking Goku and play guitar. You know what I'm saying? Like this is usable in a variety of different ways. I can barely even see the skin when I'm using it in Overwatch. Like I understand everybody wants to make money. It's a free to play game, but y'all make like the amount of money you're making, you're getting more money now and ruining your investment for the future. It kind of feels like you're trying to drain all the oil where you could have a more sustainable future than trying to just be like, let's get all the money out of the Overwatch players before the game dies. That's what it really feels like.
And that Cowboy Bebop collab was ass.
That shit is awful. Yeah. And I'm a Cassidy main, bro. That shit is awful. I really wanted to, I was hyped and then y'all shit on it.
Listen, one of the few times I can actively be a hater and be fulfilled, bruh. That brought me so much joy. I don't think you understand how much joy that brought me. You know what? Thank you, Overwatch. Thank you. I appreciate that. But that pretty much covers it, bruh. Fairs. I have nothing else to add. But we can slide on to the next topic here. Listen, let's talk about it, man. The comments in some of our videos and shorts, they had to correct me. This isn't a arena fighter. It's the arena fighter. Dragon Ball Z Sparking Zero got a brand new trailer. Got a whole bunch of, again, just a reveal. The speed versus power trailer showed off a whole bunch of brand new characters, well, returning characters and brand new characters to the series, as well as some new gameplay mechanics in their reveal showcase. Dropped off a lot of information for us to, you know, chew on while we were waiting for this game to release. And yeah, it's hilarious, bro. I'm not gonna lie. The Tenkaichi, you know what I'm saying, faithful, they're back in droves, bro. We're back online. But when from the footage, from the trailers, from the showcase, what did you make of Dragon Ball Sparking Zero?
I'm trying to find a way not to be offensive.
They was trying to cook you last time. They was trying to cook you on the comments last time, bro. I'm dead serious. Go in them shorts and look. It's like, what is this guy talking about?
I'm sorry to say, I don't really care for arena fighters. And it's not. I think this game, for what it's gonna be, is gonna be great. I think the casual arena fighter community, y'all gonna have a blast with this. I think this is gonna be really fun. Honestly, all I really care about for this game to be like a 9 to me, all I really care about is that we get full cutscenes, and I don't need like the full 30-minute episode, but I need cutscenes of the moments that I care about. Yeah. Like, I think Budokai 1 was probably my favorite one to do it the right way, which was like, hey, this is the Raditz saga. We're gonna show you the important cutscenes for this. We're gonna set up, like, if you don't want to animate entire episodes, I understand that. Put like a little wall of text, you know, some context before you show me the cool anime movie or whatever the fuck. Like, that's what I would want. I don't want this like Goku cutout standing next to Nappa cutout while Nappa says the lines and then you jump into the fight. I don't want that. I don't want that at all. The reason I'm not super excited about this game is because it is an anime arena fighter. There's no talk about rollback. There's no talk about like it looks way more dynamic than the previous games though. Like, I will say that it does look like a very interesting game to play, and I definitely could see myself, like, if somebody comes over and they're like, "Oh, you want to play Dragon Ball Z?" Like, "Oh, absolutely." I will not be playing this game seriously in the least. If there is no single player mode, I'm not copping. I'll just watch whatever people have. Like, I'll watch some videos on it.
There's gotta be.
There's gotta be, but I could also see them hitting us with like Goku cutout standing next to Raditz cutout, being like, you can't fight me, Kakarot, and then loading into the fight. Like, it looks cool as shit though. I will say it looks cool as shit. I think the character variety looks really, really good. Like, the fact that it's not just like the characters look like they play different. I don't know what balancing is going to be like, but I'm sure that shit will probably be a nightmare. I really fucking love Hit. He's probably one of my favorite like new Dragon Ball Z characters, and his design looked crazy. I definitely, if I pick this game up, I'm definitely playing Hit in like whatever arcade mode or whatever they have for it. I just have a problem with arena fighters because they don't really. I play shit like Tekken. I play shit like Street Fighter.
It's
like,
it's a lot sharper. You know what I mean? Like,
yeah, like a lot of shit like frame perfect shit matters. Like, oh man, you're too far from this to execute this, that, and the third. I have 100 different moves. I can use them to my advantage, to like their disadvantage. Like, there's a lot of shit going on. With this, I cannot imagine them making all of the Dragon Ball Z characters come into this game and everybody having exclusively different move sets. I feel like a lot of people are going to fit into certain archetypes, which is cool, which is fine. My biggest fear is that, like, what happened with like Xenoverse 2. I remember playing Xenoverse for the first time. Not even Xenoverse 2, but Xenoverse 1. Playing that shit for the first time. If I try to play PvP against the Saiyan, it was fucking over. Like, there was 3 moves they used. That was the best moves in the game. They spammed it because they had unlimited key charge. And I was like, yo, this shit is ass. And that shit didn't get patched for a long time because I played the shit out of Xenoverse 1. I love Xenoverse 1 and I love Xenoverse 2. I might go back. If I could get that shit for the low ski, I might cop that shit up because it was a fun time. Like, these games are really, really fun. But like, to me, I'm not buying Dragon Ball Z games to be, unless I want to, like, I'm not buying Dragon Ball Z games to be competitive unless it's Fighter Z. Like, and that's what I think is beautiful, is that Dragon Ball Z has fighters. So this doesn't have to be a super unique, like, it doesn't have to be a super sweaty fighting game. It can just be something for people who want to have an arena fighter, who want to relive their Dragon Ball Z fantasies, like all that shit. I think this game is going to be really, really sick. I loved what I saw. I love the new additions they added too to make the game a little bit more engaging, more dynamic. I can't remember what it was. I was like, I remember like watching it and like stopping it because I'm like, yo, they had these motherfuckers just like teleported behind each other like 3 different times, and then I realized, they're using key to do that. Like, it makes sense. Okay, cool. So it looks pretty dope. I'm excited to see what they have to offer, but I don't care about anything right now that isn't single player. I need to know what the campaign is like. I need to know if we're gonna be able to play through certain things. Like shit, if you can even put just from Dragon Ball Z to Dragon Ball Z would be fine for me. But if you put all the fucking story content from Dragon Ball Z to Super, I'd buy this shit day one. I don't even have fucking money for that shit, but I'd find a way to get it because that's a really good fucking deal. But we will see.
Yeah, we'll figure it out. But yeah, as somebody who is not, you know what I'm saying, that harping on the FGC stuff, I like what I saw. I really did like what I was watching and stuff in the showcase. So I can jump in just on the mechanics part and what they're changing. And again, the game, of course, the game looks sharper. It's probably one of the best. You know, it's probably one of the best. Visually, one of the best looking Dragon Ball games we've probably ever seen. Like it looks very, very good, very, very sharp. The attacks look crisp. The movement looks crisp. It feels very dynamic. I like the camera, as in like again, there's a bit of movement to it, but it's not like, oh, I'm shaking, having an absolute like panic attack or something like that in a car. You know what I mean? Like there's enough movement to where it feels dynamic, but it's not overbearing in my opinion from what I saw. May have to give it a second look, but that's what I got from it. And again, those skills that you were talking about was a big plus that I saw. Again, like the short dash, which like kind of adds to the dragon dash, so you can kind of like mix up. You know, again, you can mix up like, you know, if you want to be super defensive, you can add a dragon dash to a short dash and then just dash the hell out of there, or you can add it to your mix. You know what I'm saying? Like just closing distance, mixing up how you approach. You know what I'm saying? Distances with other people, because again, you're fighting in these big landscapes, so doing that to get away or get near to attacks can be very tactical. So I'm glad they added that. What's it called? There was the revenge counter, which is like you can, like, as they punch you, you can actually send one out if you have enough, like, I guess, energy in a certain way, and send a punch back and send a hit back, which that's very cool. Again, very much akin to the entire story of what people do in Dragon Ball games. Like sometimes they'll get that shit off while you getting hit. It is what it is. My favorite one out of the bunch was definitely super perception, which again, you can deflect beams, counter beams, do all that stuff. I really like, again, love that. I'm glad there's like that. Again, that level of depth to it. And then there was like the vanishing assaults, which is like, again, you can like I think that was what you were talking about, like, you know, you can, like, if you're fighting at mid-range, you can just use some key and get right up close, and like you just like, kind of continue an attack. So different ways to approach different situations, and I feel like that is the name of the game in terms of a multiplayer aspect. How do you add enough variety to the gameplay itself and to the characters that you're bringing in to at least have some differentiable factors in gameplay each time? Because again, as much as I love, you know what I'm saying, the Tenkaichi series, Tenkaichi 3 is my favorite Dragon Ball game of all time, like many people out there, but I would be remiss without saying, like, everybody has the same inputs basically, like outside of maybe like a couple people off the top of my head. I doubt it, you know what I mean? But it's basically the same. So if there's any way to create those points of difference in the gameplay, your approach, your strategy, that only adds to what this game's gonna bring. So I really like, again, those 4 gameplay mechanics that are, again, those tweaks that are added into the sets that's already there. Again, you already have the beam struggles there, they're coming back. You have, again, the transmissions that are, you know what I'm saying, like you have like what, 3 or whatever. I'm not sure if those are. I don't think those are exactly vanishing assaults. They might be vanishing assaults, which would be like the 3, which like you can alternate and stuff like that, which could be a tweak from like in the previous games. But anyways, the gameplay loop I am looking closely to, and from what I'm seeing so far, they're adding enough depth to at least make it tactical, at least make it a little bit more tactical, which is something I appreciate. Again, which is something people who are above my pay grade in terms of, you know, they're like Wen, who's like more into fighting games. He's more, you know what I'm saying, more tenured and knows how to approach a fighting game tactically. You know what I'm saying? That satisfies that group, at least to a certain extent, or at least opens the door to be like, okay, you guys are actually working on making this more of an approachable game from a competitive standpoint, which is good. And again, outside of that, like the character cast, bro, I'm just excited, bro. I'm very excited, and I feel like that depth of, we have everything from Dragon Ball all the way to Super, opens the door for so much stuff. Again, we saw hella people, man. Again, Kale hit, what was it? What
Despo, I think his name is.
Dispo.
Topo.
Dispo, Topo. Like there's so much characters we can do, and I feel like what I enjoyed about that is, again, is that there are a lot of distinct attacks across the cast that we saw in that new trailer, and what I'm hoping is there's enough of that. Again, the points of difference, the ability to kind of feel different attacks, maybe a different combo, a couple of things to unlock themselves. You know what I mean? Like, again, everybody's going to have the same base, of course, but I want to see a bit of that, those points of difference in each character, just even if it's a little bit, just to provide that little bit of authenticity to the character, and a little bit of distinctness for when people pick it up. Because I know me, when I played Tenkaichi 3, one of the characters that I'd always love to use, probably wasn't my top, but in my I'd say definitely my top 5, it was Birder. I love Birder, the fastest in the universe. I fucking love Birder. Like, again, I just love speed, so I was like, fuck it, I gotta use Birder. And so if we could make that translate, that would be that to me would be a W in my book, making the feel of Birder different to, you know what I'm saying, he can't feel like Jeese, he can't feel like anybody else at Ginyu Force, like that, you know, the weight of him, the presentation of him, but also the usage of like the combos, inputs. Hopefully there's a little bit more of a again distinctness and a separation between other characters when you get down to, you know, the deeper combos, his specials and all stuff like that, but we'll see. Outside of that, presentation, again, like we said, beautiful. When Birder and Jeese did their purple move and shit like that,
that shit was sick.
That shit was hype, bro. Again, Broly looking crazy. Super Broly looked crazy. Kale looked crazy. All these attacks looked insane. Like, that's what I think I want to. That presentation level to get to like Naruto Ninja Storm, like Ninja Storm levels. I needed to really push there. You want that over the top. You want that, you know what I'm saying? I'm not looking for a crazy, you know what I'm saying, like super, you know, like sharp, intricate thing. I just want over the top presentation with mine. Like, that's what Dragon Ball is at the end of the day. So if you can showcase that, again, the distinctness of each character through those specials and how they're presented and how they look, you're doing a damn good job. So from what I've seen so far, I'm very excited. I was already excited before, but you know what I'm saying? For all the people in the comments, this is the arena fighter, baby, and I'm looking out for it.
And I don't, and again, like, I want to like say this, and I'm sure people will still not listen. I think this game is going to be really fun for what it is. Arena fighters are not my thing, but I do think that there is a place for this, and I don't even need them to like do so much, because like I remember playing Budokai and like just doing like the special battles of like, oh man, I gotta fight, like I can't remember what it was, but like I remember Budokai, like I remember more. No, it wasn't What If Saga. I think it was like Budokai 1. I remember like we would, in Budokai 1, you would go through the story and then you would go back through the story, but from the perspective of like different people. So like, you would go through the story as like Goku, but then you would go back and fight the Raditz as Piccolo. And like, you can honestly just do like exactly what you said, like the What If Saga in this game, and it would, that mode in and of itself would be cool. Like having a gauntlet of like, let's go from the weakest power level to the strongest power level. You pick a character, you got to play through all of them, and like we'll be making like as anime accurate as possible. So you're gonna have like fighting Kid Gohan, like all that. Like even if you did shit like that, like I don't need the gameplay itself to be super different, and I don't need like different full-on move sets for every different character. I don't need them to have different combo routes than everybody else, but it needs to feel different enough that you're not giving me like the same 4 dudes, but they just all look kind of different. You know what I'm saying? Like that's my biggest takeaway from it, is that like I don't want them to half-ass this shit, because we just saw this episode. The first thing we talked about was a fucking cash grab that was off nostalgia. The last thing we would want is for everybody to be like, we're so back, and then it's another cash grab for nostalgia. And it's not like this would be the first cash grab from nostalgia from a beloved anime series that they did within the last year. Because let's remember, there is a Naruto arena fighter right now that people are not huge fans of because they felt like, what? It was a cash grab. I don't think this is a bad time for this game. I think this game could be amazing. But I also don't think walking in it with the same level of like, nobody can be Goku mentality is the right call, because then you're going to be sitting there with like Sparking Zero 3 and you're like, damn, it's kind of like the same game, but it's not really changing anything. Like that's my biggest fear. But again, I have my game. I have my fighting games. I will be fine. I will survive. I want the best for y'all, but hey, I'm not holding my breath for this company to do anything out of the box and to make this something that could be, because I think they have the potential, the capital, the funds, the manpower, but it's just about the wanting of doing that. I don't need this to be a tactical business move. I need this to be a good gaming move.
Yeah, but honestly, fully agree. If we don't have Devilman in this game, we riot. Automatic 4 out of 10.
Yeah. If I can't fuse Hercule and Goku, I don't want it.
Type
Like
shit.
that's what I need. I need that wacky shit from the old games that made you think like, what the fuck? This is so wild, but I'm cool that it's here.
100%. And again, it's like one of those games that can 100% deliver. It can 100% deliver. It's just, again, like you said, the will on the point of the company and the devs to be like, yo, let's push the envelope and really give them something that does Budokai Tenkaichi justice. I hear it. But we can skedaddle on to the regular stories, the rest of the stories that we have quite a bit. But let's start with Pal World, man. Pal World is raking in money. They getting bags, baby. They getting a whole kinds of bags. Listen, first and foremost, the development team says their profits are literally too big for a studio with our size to handle. They only have 55 people. You know what I'm saying? The game cost about 6.7 million to make, but they're making so much bread that they said, hey man, my pocket's crazy. I don't even know what to do with them right now. You know what I'm saying? I'm immobile by the amount of bread I'm making. And on top of that, we have a new update on the way from Pal World. Again, talk about a brand new evil Pal that's apparently laying siege to the Palpagos Islands, which is hilarious. And again, I believe it's the Bella Noir raid. So that's coming through. I saw meteor showers in the update trailer. I saw a whole bunch of stuff. This looks really exciting. When talk to me about the bag Pal World's making and the new update that is coming.
I think having too much money is such a funny problem. I think that's such
that's
good for them.
hilarious.
Good for them because that's such a cool problem to have as a game studio. I think I don't even know what you could do. You know what I'm saying? Like that's such a problem that I've never heard of. That I don't even know what the solution for that would even be. You know, like give it to me.
Give it to no cooldown, brother. Hey, I got the solution.
Like it's so funny, but. The new raid looks dope. The new PAL looks dope. I think they're such a good spot for a game like this. I only hope that they just like keep expanding. I think their team needs to grow significantly to be able to keep up with the demand because the demand is high. 100%. And right now, your first game being able to compete with like a seasoned veteran to the point where people are like are calling you the better version of their game is a bananas place to be in for your first year out. I just hope that Xbox gives them some guidance because they really need. I think guidance is their biggest need right now. They need somebody who's been in the game for a long time, like Xbox, to be able to help them make the right decisions, but also like having the agency of being like, yo, you know what, Xbox, we appreciate what y'all doing, but I don't like this call that you're making right here. I'm not a fan of it. You know, like being able to understand when it's time to like step in and be like, no, we don't need this. We would rather do it this way. Because as much as I would love for them to have like, as much as I believe in Xbox, I also don't want anybody else to kind of fuck up what they've been doing. Because at the end of the day, it wasn't Xbox who came up with Pal World. It was the people of this team. So for them to be like, yo, I want your guidance, but also understand that like, you don't have to always take it. Yeah,
take it.
You know what I'm saying? Like you can push back. Make sure that you keep that agency of who you are because that's what got you here.
Honestly, 100%. And yeah, just looking at again all their successes, it's really, really dope to see. And this is my thing that also I want to push back on people. You know what I'm saying? Just because other games have now came into the frame because it's a release year, time moves forward. They think that the game is automatically dead because it's not in the front of their minds. Trust and believe. I know my catalog is full right now. Like there's some stuff I got to get to. There's, you know what I'm saying, content I got to do. But once I have time, like I'm going back into Power World. Like that's it's not leaving the rotation. And now that it's like, you know, it's not necessarily in the limelight of the mainstream, it's still in the mainstream and it's got a comfortable groove going on. And the fact that they already made enough bread to, you know what I'm saying, settle for a long time, the one that's good for their development kind of settles the nerves of, oh damn, we really got to stay, you know what I'm saying, we really got to, you know what I'm saying, do whatever we can to survive or whatever. Now that that's kind of out the way, they can take a bit of time and really focus on the quality assurance, quality aspects of the game to, again, bring more content, settle the storm in terms of building more server stability, building out more compatibility with, you know, cross play and Xbox servers and PC server stability. Like those things that can be lined up and addressed, they have a bit more, I think they have a bit more weight off their shoulders and a bit more calmness to address those things, which is very, very good. And again, they're not out of the mainstream. They're still one of the best selling games. You go on the Steam charts, it's probably still up there like crazy. You know what I mean? Like they're not going anywhere. And one thing I would say in terms of, you know, getting advice from people, I would love for them to, again, hopefully they're reaching out to other indie studios or something, for at least from a purely strategy perspective. In my head, I would love to have them have a conversation with like Sean Murray and Hello Games, just to talk about how the approach of content, you know what I'm saying? And again, not to say that they're literally the opposite situation of Hello Games and No Man's Sky, you know what I'm saying? This game came out to a crazy boom, No Man's Sky came out to a crazy low. But the fact that they've built that level of consistency in their development cycle, I think Hello Games would be like a perfect like consultant, you know what I'm saying, thing, like conversation to like talk to, like, you know, how do you balance this out to keep, you know, to keep players engaged that you already have, but also kind of send those feelers out to the world and say, hey, we're still building stuff out here. If you haven't tried it now, really lock in, because we're rolling. How do you build that consistency in your content pipeline past launch? And that is something I would really want Power World to lock in on, because there's so much there's so much possibilities that you can have from this game, and I want them to keep stacking on that, really keep stacking on that, because they have a very worthwhile, very fun experience here. And you know what I'm saying, the worst thing that they can do is rest on their laurels, you know what I'm saying, and the best thing they can do is strategize how they can plan for the future and build longevity, because this is a game that has the potential to be here for a very long time, you know what I'm saying, and it could branch out into how many different things. But for the game experience itself, really just lock in. You got the bag. Now focus on the long-term, you know what I'm saying, health of Power World itself. And right now, again, I think they're on a good path.
Yeah. No, they definitely need to learn. They need to get some information on scaling, because I think that's like going to be their biggest issue. Their biggest hurdle is scaling, trying to get more people in to help them keep making content. But I agree that No Man's Sky would be like my first call, because it's like, how do you make, because they've been making free expansions that their community has been absolutely in love with. I don't even play No Man's Skies as much as I used to, but like every time I go into my library and I see No Man's Skies pop up, my first initial thought is like, I need to go back to that game, because there's so much that I want to do. There's so much that you guys have done that makes it cool. Like they're cooking, and I think that would be a really good idea. But I also just like with the wealth of Xbox, just being like, hey, maybe I don't need to talk to Xbox exclusively, but you guys have a bunch of people under your umbrella that I know can be of great help when talking about certain things.
100%. And I feel like that they have to definitely utilize the access that they're given with Xbox to get in touch with these people and start building out, because again, they've said it themselves, they're a very inexperienced company. It's their first go at doing this. You know, the more knowledge that they gain, the more chance that they stand to really set Power World up for a long run in the mainstream, doing good things. And who knows where that will lead for them going forward into either new games or expansions on this game. You know, I want the best for Power World, because Power World, it's a fun ass experience, and I want people to really, I want that to be set up for people to experience too. You know, if they're into internet or if they even remotely, I want Power World to really be ready for, you know what I'm saying, welcoming those people with open arms and having something for them.
Yeah.
100 man. But let's talk about another game that I wanted to really get into, Hyperlight Breaker. We have had a brand new preview from IGN site talking about Hyperlight Breaker, the prequel to Hyperlight Drifter. Again, just a whole extraction roguelike type game, has some online co-op features, you know, all the parkour things that you kind of seen from the previous iteration in, I guess, a 2D-ish format. It's in the full 3D. Again, the soundtracks, the building with melee and ranged weaponry, a whole, you know what I'm saying, open world-ish settings. Like, it's coming out in the summer. I'm liking how it's looking, but talk me through what you're thinking about Hyperlight Breaker.
No, this game looks sick. This game looks really sick. I really want to play it. It looks like a lot of fun. I love where they're going with it. I need to go back and play the original, because I've heard nothing but great things.
Solid, super.
It kind of reminds me a little bit of like, I don't think it's mostly the art style of like Risk of Rain. And online co-op in this kind of a game, it's just gonna be such a fun time. I actually can't wait for this, because the summer's gonna be like, the summer is for the indies. Summer is for the indies. That's when the indies come out swinging. It's gonna be sick. I can't wait. These are the kinds of games that I'm excited for. And the summer could also be for the AAAs, but y'all don't want it,
But
so we're not gonna keep pressing it.
Live
We're not
off
gonna
that
keep pressing
old
it.
ass model, bro. People still do be at home during the summer. I promise you.
Like I was in Texas in the summer. The last place I wanted to be was outside. Never, like, there's so many places that people are just like, man, I'd rather just chill in the crib and play cool games. But
Facts.
Hey, do you?
Factuals, man. But to kind of talk about Hyperlight Breaker for a second, bro, one thing I absolutely love in gaming, and I feel like this is an understated thing. I don't think it happens very often, or maybe hasn't happened as often as people would think, at least in my view. I love when games, if they're planning to continue a franchise, I love when they bring it to a whole different plane. Again, the biggest example I can provide, Helldivers 1 to Helldivers 2. And I think we talked about it a little bit beforehand, when they just kind of take the whole paradigm of a game and shift it into a point where, this is either a step. I want to say it's a step up. It's a completely step away from what you knew. You know what I'm saying? In a certain way, the DNA and the art, the DNA and you know what I'm saying, like the approach of the game is still there, but the pane of glass that you're looking through for this game is completely different. Again, going to this full 3D setting. I love when people take that leap. I love when studios take this leap, because it's you know what I'm saying, it's showing maturity enough to say, like, hey, you know what, like, we know our franchise so much, we can put this in a different frame of light and still show you this is the core of the game, and give you something a bit different that's still in the vein of Hyperlight. You know what I'm saying? This is still Hyperlight at its core, but it's just a completely new way to feel it out. You know what I'm saying? And rock with it. So I love when companies do this, especially, again, smaller studios that are, really starting to push out, you know what I'm saying, more stuff, getting into their series. So this looks really, really good. Again, online co-op, I'm a horror for, so I'm automatically give that a W. Again, the parkour, the environments look really, really nice. Again, I'm liking the enemy types and the enemy variety. The customization, I'm gonna have to see what that's like. And again, the building and the craftability with your weapons, I want to see how far that ranges and how accessible some of those things are, whether it be weapon quality or, the variety in general. I want to see how that kind of pans out. But so far, I am very, very, very impressed with Hyperlight Breaker. And again, I love when people take that jump to a different plane to kind of expand their IP. I love this type of stuff.
Yeah, and it's funny that you mentioned that, because like when maybe that's something that, like, I didn't even realize, but like that's something that Risk of Rain has done. And like,
yes,
you're absolutely right that it's like, that is I also think it's a very ballsy move, because it's also like, yo, look me dead in my face, bro. I'm moving my game from something that is like known, like I know this will work, to I'm going to move in a new direction that you have not seen before. And I promise you, this is gonna cook. Like, it's such a cool move, because I'm sure the people who played Risk of Rain 1, when they started playing 2, and they're like, whoa, this is a completely different game. Because when I went back to Risk of Rain Returns, I went back to that, I'm like, wow, this is completely different. But not only that, it doesn't really overshadow the success of the first game, because I will play Risk of Rain 2 to this day knowing that Risk of Rain Returns is out. And I'll play Risk of Rain Returns knowing that Risk of Rain 2 is out. Like, it's such a smart idea, because I'm sure people who are playing Helldivers 2 are like, damn, you know what? I kind of miss the gameplay of 1. You guys want to jump back on that? Like, yeah, why not? Why wouldn't we? It's very, very dope to see. And it's not something that a lot of people can really pull off, because it could go disastrously bad. It could go awful.
Facts.
But shout outs to the team, man. This game looks really good. I still have yet to play the first one, but like, everybody who I've talked to said that it's good. So I'm definitely gonna go tap back into that and then play this with that in mind.
100%, man. Hyperlight Breaker, we see you. This is I'm liking it. But we can slide on here to the next bit of news, man. Speaking of, again, games that take a leap, you know what I'm saying, this maybe was or was not purposeful because of the person who was curating the show notes. Helldivers 2, which is the game of the year so far according to sales charts. It is literally the #1 selling game of 2024 through, again, the March 2nd, and it's been, again, going up against some heavy hitters so far as games drop. So the best selling game of the year, Helldivers 2, it's not getting rid of friendly fire, guys. The balls of Helldivers 2, I believe it's again a CEO, Mr. Pilstead, if I'm saying that name correctly. If I'm butchering it, I'm sorry. The quote has came about when asked about friendly fire and not getting rid of it, and it stated, if your bullets can kill enemies and the enemies can kill you, then logic dictates that your bullets must also be able to kill your friends. Also, accidentally carpet bombing your friends is hilarious. So, you know, it's that. And again, he went on to say in the PlayStation blog, the most important thing when we make games is believability. Things should be consistent in the game world, and therefore we must have friendly fire. So when, you know, again, I think there's been actually a lot of talk about people, you know, complaining about friendly fire, wanting to turn it off. But when, your thoughts?
I don't like. Why do Tripp? I'm just so confused as to like how you can play a game like Helldivers, get shot in the back, and realize that that's like part of the game, and then sit there and be like, nah, this needs to go. Like, I just don't. It's funny. Like, that's just the point of the game. It just doesn't make sense, bro. That's what you signed up for. That's like, I don't. That's the shit that be blowing me, is like. Mm-hmm. On one hand, I remember being like, man, I think it's stupid that I can't pause the game in Elden Ring. I think it's kind of dumb. Like, why? Who cares if I pause it? It's not really going to change much. Fucking Millennia is still going to be an awful person to fight if I can take a fucking breather every now and then. Or if I have to want to take a sip of my water. But I was ridiculed. I'm like, you got it. You know, that's the game what I signed up for, da-da-da-da-da. It's happening in this game, and I was like, well, this is stupid. Like, I hate it. I truly hate it. There's just like such a double standard in a lot of shit, and this has nothing to do with fucking Elden Ring, by the way. Mm-hmm. It's just like, I just wanted to showcase that double standard that a lot of people will have when it comes to like games that they really want to stand by and believe in, like the whatever, and then like everything else. If you don't like the friendly fire, man, get out of the way. There's a green laser, bro. Move. Or stop playing with people who friendly fire you. I don't care. I think it's more funny than anything, because at the end of the day, that's the point of the game, is like, you're supposed to have fun. You're supposed to just laugh about it, be like, bro, what the fuck? And then keep moving about your day. But if you're sitting there and you can't handle the fact that all the meta weapons got nerfed, the friendly fire is still on, like, that's just, it's war. Like, I don't know how more to explain it. It's war. You are at war. Like, somebody falling with like the laser of the 500k bomb or whatever, that shit kind of happens IRL, not IRL right now, but that shit has happened. Like, that is very plausible. You gotta you're carpet bombing your friends. Like, that's happened. That shit happens. And the fact that you guys just want, like, I don't know what you guys want, really. I think you guys just want to play a different game. And that's like something that I just want to just play a different game. It's not hard. Just find something else. Not even try to be a dick. Just like truly just, hey, this isn't for me. And that's fine. You know, I was told that by a bunch of people when I played a bunch of different games, and I'm like, I don't really like this mechanic. Like, even with Dragon Ball Z, I say these things about Dragon Ball Z as an arena fighter because I don't like arena fighters. I know they're not for me. So I let y'all have it, and I'll be like, yo, this is what I don't like, but y'all can enjoy it because I know that it's not built for me. If y'all don't like friendly fire in the game, in the silly fucking game, bro, play a different game. Play Call of Duty. That's really what it sounds like. Everybody just wants to play Call of Duty. Like, a lot of people they have not gotten over Call of Duty not being Call of Duty these days, and it's just sad.
Listen, there was an old quote, I believe it's from a song, that said, it's summertime and the living is easy. People want it so easy. They want shit on a silver plate, bro. Democracy is not on a silver plate. It's earned through work. Get in the ground and work. They're not gonna, turn it off, bro. We can't conquer this planet because we're shooting our friends. Get your aim up. You ain't training in basic training for that, bro. The tutorial didn't teach you enough. Get your aim up, brother. And even if you do have friendly fire, own that. Live in it. Be proud. Saying I'm really shooting. You just got in the way of my fire. That's tough, bro. Myself, I have 14,000 on friendly fire damage just in the past month alone.
I know, I was there.
Shut the hell up. That's none of your business. Shut up. I'm like, all right, be proud of that shit, man. Be proud and work to improve. Right? If you're doing 14,000 friendly fire damage, do more. Do 20, and then do the mission. That means you did your job. The other things don't matter. These other stats, they don't matter. Did you finish the mission? Yes. Is the planet conquered? Yes. Then that sounds like a democratic job to me. But nah, in all seriousness though, y'all tweaking. Y'all need to actually like you guys.
I also just
go ahead.
I just don't get it because it's like there's difficulty sliders. You know what I'm saying? Like
literally.
Like, yesterday, like I literally these past couple of days, every now and then when I got like 20, 30 minutes, then I'm just like, you know what, I got time. I'll jump into like a challenging mission and just vibe. Like I'll do the shit by myself, like no team, because I don't need it. It's at the point that I'm at, I don't really need it. So like I know that you can get, there's only 3 different samples that you can acquire, which are like common, rare, and super samples or whatever. I think the level of difficulty for the super sample missions is reasonable for getting 4 people together to get the super samples. Everything below that is also reasonable. If you can't complete a Helldiver mission, changing the entire mechanics and core of the game should not be your first idea of how to approach the situation. Like, oh man, I can't complete this.
The game is wrong.
The game is wrong. Like, nah, man. It sounds like you either need to get better, get a better crew, or, and this is an important one, play at a lower difficulty. It's not, or play at a lower difficulty, unlock the shit you need to unlock. If you want to argue that there should be a progression system for people who just cannot possibly do Helldive or can't get super samples in a way, like, hey, can I convert some of my commons to rares and then some of my rares to super samples? That's something that I think is a valid thing to talk about. But sitting here and being like, let's take a core aspect of the game out because my buddies can't shoot straight, bro, I don't know. That shit just seems kind of a waste of time. Yeah. It's a conversation that doesn't really feel like it needs to be had. Yeah. It feels very much like, yo, like maybe you should play a different game. Like when I'm playing Helldivers by myself, I know the missions aren't gonna be the same as like when I'm playing with people, so I can't get mad if I fucking fail the mission because I got beat up. I'm playing it the wrong way, so I have to accept that and keep it moving. Like accept the game is not built the way you want to play it. I promise you, if I could today change and make it so that I could play with AI bots that aren't stupid, I would, but I know that that's not the game, so I'm gonna just keep it pushing.
Type shit. It's just, why does the Earth have to revolve? You know what I'm saying? Why does the sun have to revolve around you, brother? Why does the sun have to revolve around you? Why do you think that when something is, you know, maybe a bit of a contentious point or something that you're not used to, you think it's wrong? You know what I'm saying? It's just different. You're not used to it because, you know, maybe aim assist has been helping you for a long time. You don't know how to truly aim. You know, let's keep it a stack bundle here. If you're finding that it's a bit too much for you because you keep killing your friends in the same line of sight, maybe you should work on something called, you know, positioning, you know, and communication to not shoot each other in the back and front whenever you're firing off weapons. That could be something that could, you know, maybe help you. Talking and moving away from the line of sight of your fellow Helldivers. It could work. I don't say I'm just spitballing here, but it could work.
Strategy.
Like, yo, like for real, let's see if it pays off for him, Cotton. Like, yo, bro, you guys are honestly, a lot of y'all are just whining like bitches, bro. Y'all need to get some democracy and get some bitches. The message is always the same about this type of stuff, bro. I don't understand why you need to complain about this when you can either lower the difficulty, talk more, and figure out how from a standpoint of yourself as a player, how can you improve? And if it's all too much for you, get off the fucking game. Get off. You're not like this. Again, one thing I really love these devs. I really love, again, the Arrowhead devs. They even got slandered that one time before talking about I don't know if it was the metas, it might have been the flamethrower meta, and they were like, yo, we're not changing it. We just like to see you guys squirm, honestly. And one of the devs got flamed for that, and he had to apologize or whatever, which I was like, damn, I would have apologized. I would not have. It's supposed to be an interactive experience. It's supposed to be an interactive experience. That's not supposed to be easy. It's not going to be a walk in the park for any of you. As much as you all want it to be a walk in the park and be the heroes of your own story and say, oh, I conquered this with no problem. Yay, I did the meta weapons. I did all this. Friendly fire was off so I could fire at will with no penalties, Like, it's not like that. It's not that. You know what I mean? And I'm glad that the devs internally, I know they stand on business and they don't want to change that because, again, it removes the core. If you take away friendly fire, you take away so many organic experiences and how much potential funny moments that could have. You know what I'm saying? And it's not even just a funny moment. It could be an angry moment. It could be whatever. The things that elicit emotion from video games that are, again, set up and platformed by those systems. So friendly fire, I think, is key to how the overall experience is. And getting rid of that, you get rid of the emotion, you get rid of the investment, you take away some of the fun. That's stupid to me. That's stupid. You let them do what they do. That's what it is at this point. If you can't find a solution to, again, find a way to enjoy it, turn the game off. The Super Earth don't need you if you're gonna be bitching like this. Super Earth does not need you.
Yeah, it's just so stupid because I don't understand. A lot of y'all aren't game devs for a reason. And telling game devs how to do their job is literally like, it's quite literally your video game Karens at this point. It's like walking into a retail store and being like, hey, do you know how to do your job when you don't work there? Like, it's annoying as shit. I still to this day think that saying to a gamer get better is really fucking funny.
It's hilarious,
especially from the dev standpoint, because that's the one thing that everybody likes to make fun of devs, being like, devs aren't even good at their own games, da 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 da. But then when you say this shit's too hard and the dev says you're not good at the game, oh, now it's a problem.
It's an
you didn't have a problem.
How dare you insult your customer base with dumbass?
Like,
listen,
you said that to them. Like, you guys are not respectful to them. Why should they be respectful to you?
At all.
It doesn't make sense to me. But just for future's sake, if you're playing a game and you think to yourself, I don't really like this core component of it, this would be a lot better if they changed it. There's a reason they did it that way. They would not have, if Helldivers played like Call of Duty, they would not be you would be calling it a Call of Duty clone.
Literally.
So when there are things that make it different from these games, when they're different, because I don't even know like what game you guys really want to play. Like, I guess like a Left 4 Dead, but again, like every time you think about like, well, I want it to change to be more like this, go play that, you know, just go play that. Unless you're talking about from a real, like, I need some shit for accessibility, I want to play this game, but there's this one thing that's holding me back. That's a different conversation, but Friendly Fire would not be that. It would be a different conversation if you were like, yo, sometimes I genuinely just can't see shit. Maybe can I get like an outline for the bugs or something when they're close to me, or something along those lines? It'd be different. Or sometimes I'm playing the game and those street lamps that are in the game, bright as shit. I can't see a goddamn thing. I'm like, what am I looking at? So like, that's a different conversation. But if you're gonna sit here and be like, yo, Friendly Fire is annoying because my friends keep killing me, man, you guess what? Your friends are annoying. That's the end of the day. That's what happens. So either don't play with them, or tell them to get better, or move out the way. When I'm playing with the homies, they can tell you themselves, if they're on one side of the nest, I'm on the other. And it's not because of Friendly Fire, now it is, but it's mostly just because of the way I play. And I know that I'm gonna run through somebody's line of fire. I do it all the time. I run through somebody's line of fire. I've like down Mr. Presidents to the bugs because somebody will be shooting a shotgun and I'll try to dive out of the way of something else and I'll get shot in the back. Like, it happens all the time. I learned and I moved forward.
Yep. And that's why I use a DMR in my loadouts, so I don't spray and put people to death.
That doesn't change anything for him.
Shut the hell up.
It still hits us quite often. It's more accurate Friendly Fire than anything else.
I'm tired of the disrespect. I'm
tired of dying.
Listen. Oh man, but case in point, bro, like, this is a really fun experience, and again, it's something that's tailored. It's not gonna appease everybody. It's a specific formula for how they make their stuff fun, and if you can't get down with that, we got two words. No, okay, no. But seriously, if you really can't subscribe to that and play in their world, knowing that, hey, we've set this up in a specific way, you got to just find something else or adjust your expectations. You know what I'm saying? Adjust your perception, because it's not everything is going to be tailored to you. Not everything is going to be for you. And that's okay. If you can't stand the heat of it, then move. Get out the kitchen. Get out, you know what I'm saying? Get out the pod. Don't drop down on that planet. Just get off. And that's okay. But yeah, it's very wild to see how people are complaining about certain things. Like, again, Friendly Fire. You know what I mean? Like, when you look at it, I feel like Allen Iverson, bro. Like, we talking about practice. We talking about like something so, you know what I'm saying? Like, it's not the actual outlay to this. You know what I mean? Like, in the grand scheme of things, what is it? You know what I'm saying? It's not the moment. It's not something that I should really even be concerned about. Honestly, just you see the experience there. But yeah, it's just democracy has no time for bums like y'all complain about Friendly Fire. That's really all I got to say after that. Arrowhead, keep doing what y'all doing, bro. Keep doing what y'all doing. All right, but we can move on to the next thing here. Let's talk about mid-gen refreshes. Yes, mid-gen refreshes. The Xbox and PS5 or, PS5 Pro, whatever, they're potentially going to be on the way. And again, we got a lot of news on one end. The PS5 Pro apparently going to be rumored to be released this holiday. Some information that maybe has seeped through the grapevine here. We've apparently hearing that the PS5 Pro will be rendering at 45% faster than the PS5, 2 to 3 times ray tracing, or times 4 in some cases, about 33.5 teraflops, special super resolution, upscaling, custom machine learning, and all that good stuff. And we haven't got as much technical information from the Xbox side, but Sarah Bond did state on the 16th of March that we have some exciting hardware news coming this holiday from the Xbox podcast, which maybe goes a little bit against some of the, the determinations of Phil Spencer. I think he stated probably like sometime last year that, they might not need a Series X Pro, but now they're saying, hey, we might be putting out a Series X Pro. So with the mid-gen refresh and potential Pro consoles coming, how do you feel about this?
So there's like 2 ways that this could go down. This is how it could go down. Xbox could hold strong and say we're not doing it, right? And it wouldn't be the worst idea, because at the end of the day, if I'm a developer, I'm making a version of the game for as many consoles as I possibly can. And if you're somebody who is sitting there like, do I want to make a really, really good... Do I want to sit here and have a really, really good, like, game on PlayStation or a pretty solid game on all other platforms? I think the answer is truly, like, the second option. You want to have a really like good game across the board. So PlayStation could have a stronger system, and of course the next God of War and the next other games will be bananas, right? Like they would be fucking phenomenal. But you would also be putting yourself in a position where like regardless, people bought this extra system for no real reason. Like it doesn't matter.
Yeah.
So it's a very interesting place to be in. I think that, but then there's the other side of like, do you want to lose out on the console war again? Because they've already lost to PlayStation 4, and they themselves have said like, we're trying to like move away from just hardware. But do you really want to put your competitors in that position of people being like, well, I'm gonna buy the new PlayStation because it's future proofing XYZ? So it's a little bit of a sticky situation for Xbox. Do I think we need a new PlayStation 6? Absolutely not. I have a PC though, so I can't really talk because I'm in a position where I don't really need these games. But it's also really interesting because it's like, so maybe people who are playing on the PS5s who bought them in 2020, 4 years later, are like, hey, I want to spend money. Maybe they are like that. I can't speak for them. Me personally, I'm not buying the PS6, especially because I don't think PlayStation would also make games inaccessible to the PS5 users. It's not like they're gonna be like, well, sorry guys, the games on PS6 are just you
PS5
can't play
Pro.
them. Yeah, like, but like the people who are like, sorry, bro, if you don't got a PS Pro, you're not gonna play. Like these games are still gonna be available. So it's like, I don't know.
Yeah.
It's a really weird position to be in, but I also think Xbox, their hand isn't really being forced right now. Like as much as like I would hate to admit, like I think they're okay, but they still have to make that strong ass decision, and I think it would change the trajectory of like not the console wars, but the games of their future. Like this will be a defining moment for them as a company of like, do we want to step up? Or do we want to like hold back, save our money, and do it at the right time when the consumers are ready for it? Because I also think if they drop the PS6 Pro right now, I feel like the economy is just not in the best place for people to be buying another system. Like if I was a parent, regardless of my finances, my kid told me the new system dropped. I'm like, okay, you already have one, brother. I can't do anything about that. Like you already have one, brother. This is too much.
Yeah, I hear it. And this is the thing again. Just. I already felt like there's like not, in my perspective, there's not too much incentive to either get a whatever Xbox Series X Pro or a PS5 Pro whenever they would drop this holiday. Again, my best metric is that they've seen what's coming down the line, And there's the first thing that pops in my head is GTA 6. GTA 6 is like, yo, we got to do something for this shit. We got to make sure we're ready to go for that type of shit, or whatever game's going to be coming in that line. And another game that we'll talk about on this episode today, like when you see what's coming down the pipeline, like very, very soon, they're like, holy shit, we need something midway to probably suffice in that sense. So from the product side, I guess, or from the company side, I see like why they're trying to push it. But from the consumer side, it's like, we might not have the funds for it. And it's like, bro, we might as well just take the risk with what we already have with the current hardware. You know what I mean? Like, again, just to preface my personal situation, I own a PC, I own a PS5. I think that's enough for me right now. And you know what I'm saying? I have my Switch over there too. Like, I think that covers the gamut of gaming. I don't need to extend any further than that. I will hold on until, the next console generation, really allows it to get a new console. But my next focus is really mainly getting a better PC. That's really it. Like, I don't feel any incentive to get a mid-gen refresh at this point. Like, I just don't. I've never had that incentive to get a mid-gen refresh thing. The only time I've ever seen that in my household is I was in college. Was I in college? Damn, I was in college. Jesus Christ. That's dating me a little bit, but either college or like end of high school. But my brother got a PS4 Pro and I had a regular PS4. Like, I just bought it and I was using it for me, and yeah, it was college. I was about to say I was using it and stuff like that. I came back and he had a PS4 Pro. I'm like, oh shit, it's just in the house. I see it. Like, I get why our situation, like, you know what I'm saying, allow for that, because I already bought my stuff and I'm like hours away. He can't play on my shit. But I just, outside of that, those extenuating circumstances where, like, households are separate or blah 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 in different situations, I don't see the need for any mid-gen refresh in my personal view. I get why for the midterm to upgrade, you know what I'm saying, with things, probably boost your power, get a little bit of a premium thing going on. I get that from a business standpoint, but with the economy and stuff like that, I don't think it's going to be as much of an impact. Probably might be one of the smallest impacts we've seen from premium mid-gen refreshes that we might have had, just because of how the global economy is at this state. I feel like people will buy, but it won't be as high as other, pro versions of consoles before. And
that's the thing too, is like if a lot of people buy, which I just don't see. I just truly don't see people buying into it that quickly. Even if they did buy, there would have to be such a big enough purchase, like there would have to be such a big volume that developing games for that console and not the other ones would make sense.
Mm-hmm.
And if you're somebody who didn't buy it, regardless, you're getting those games because they can't not offer you these games. They want people to buy as much as possible. So it doesn't really make sense. I remember buying the new 3DS, the one that had that could run I think it was Xenoblade Chronicles. It was like so good. There was one game that came out, maybe 2 or 3. I want to say at most 3. I can only remember one, but I feel like there were 2 that were only new 3DS exclusive. Guess what? That they still made games for the other 3DS.
Yeah,
it did not change shit. I played Xenoblade. That shit did not run as well as they really wanted it to. Like, that shit was kind of mid. It felt like when I bought the new 3DS, if it wasn't for the fact that I needed I needed another 3DS, I wouldn't have bought it. It doesn't matter. It's not that big a deal. So people aren't really missing out. Maybe you'll get better frames. That's something. Maybe games will run a little bit better. And I think that if you're somebody who has been playing your PS5 and you think like, oh, these games are running kind of trash, it's for you. It's for exactly you, and you have the funds for it. Me, I'm gonna dust that shit every day, and I'm gonna just keep pushing. You know what I'm saying? If the game doesn't run as well as I want it to, I'm gonna lower it to fidelity mode or whatever the mode is that I need, and I'm gonna get it popping, or I'm gonna play on my PC. Because the PlayStation is not to a point where we need a new one. Like, I'd rather buy a new Switch because there's actually a need for that, but what game is on my PlayStation that is only on the PlayStation that needs to run better? I just can't think of one. And every time I think of like really games that I love, like Spider-Man, God of War, these kinds of games, I'll play them in 30 FPS. I'll be out. If I want the quality, I'll play them at 30 FPS. If I want the 60 FPS, I'll play them in the quality mode. Like, I think we're in a good place right now. This is just like consumerism at its finest. Like, I just want the bread. I get it, but it's not that deep.
Yeah. I'm not there. I will not be there, brother. I will not. Simple as that. But we can slide on to other news right here. So the creator of RuneScape, you know what I'm saying? Let's talk about Mr. Andrew Gower. I guess we're in store for a new game from, you know what I'm saying, the creators of RuneScape. It's called Brighter Shores, a brand new MMORPG. Apparently it's gonna be releasing this year with the free version and a premium pass. You know what I'm saying, apparently it's been, you know, on coming since like what, 2014. So listen, I don't know, I've never been a RuneScape guy. I've always heard about RuneScape and you know what the game was like, but I don't know when, if you have any insight on how you feel about this.
I like RuneScape, but I've also wasn't a huge. I played it like as a kid, like way back in the day. I played RuneScape. This is cool. I think it's cool, but not really for me. I think that the creator of RuneScape does like that is somebody to be watched though. Like that, because RuneScape as a kid, man, sheesh, that shit was dope, and people are still playing it to this day. Like shout out to Richie. I remember I was watching a league YouTuber that I watched, and in between, like, he'll go back to base, and while he's walking back to his tower, he'll do something in RuneScape because he's farming it on the side.
Jeez.
I love a game that you can play while you're playing other games. Like I love a game that is that low, that doesn't require that much, that you could do that on the side. Like shout out to Valheim, beautiful game. You don't need all the crazy bells and whistles. Like just a good game in general. But I think that's pretty dope that they decided to start something new. Like I think it's, you know, I don't want to say it's about time because you never really need to do more than one, but I think it's dope for him, and I can't wait to see what he comes up with.
Yeah, no, 100. This looks pretty. It looks solid for like that RuneScape style of game. You know what I mean? Like like with all the different, you know, like little dungeons, little setups, like some little combat points, like what you can build. It looks like a lot of thought has gone into this. So you know, I don't know if I'm gonna be privy to trying this, but for the people who've been RuneScape fans, this definitely looks like something to watch.
Yeah, like it. And it really does kind of just feel like, yo, imagine if RuneScape had graphics. Like that's really kind of what it feels like. But like, I'm not a huge MMO kind of guy, but I do respect RuneScape heavily. Like I do respect what they've done, man. That is going down, maybe top 10 of all time. Like has to be in the conversation. If you're top like 100 games ever, RuneScape is nowhere on that list. I don't know, brother. I don't know.
Yeah.
Tripp's like, no. I'm just saying. You give it if you played it for a week, you'd be like, I see what it is. But I also think it kind of like was everybody's introduction into MMOs. Yeah, like I think people who play WoW, who play like Final Fantasy, a lot of them are like, yo, they've had some kind of like at least understanding of RuneScape. Maybe I'm wrong.
No,
but
I think that's a fair estimate for a lot of people.
Yeah, like I remember playing RuneScape, and then when I played like WoW, the first thing I was like, oh, it's kind of like RuneScape. Like every MMO since then is like, oh wow, it's kind of like RuneScape.
Nah, for real. But yeah, that's pretty much all I had to cook up on that. But we can move on to another, you know what I'm saying, pretty interesting game. One of my favorite games for last year, Sea of Stars. They have dropped a teaser for a 3-player couch co-op mode. I guess they called it single player plus, and the quote on the description of the video was as follows. Basically, it's allowing for 3 players to journey together in the Sea of Stars, staying true to the game's core turn-based roots. Each player will engage in traversal and combat with a new co-op timed hits mechanic as they embark with friends on Sea of Stars grand adventure. And it had like a little teaser bit of like, you know, all like 3 players moving through the same environment, just at different paces, people jumping down, grabbing items and stuff. So we can play 3-player co-op in this game. What'd you make of this? How do you feel about this? I'm not sure if you had a chance to play Sea of Stars yet, but you know, looking for the outside end of this feature, how'd you feel?
You know how I feel about co-op games. First and foremost, if it doesn't take away, this won't, it absolutely cannot. If it doesn't take away from the single player game, it's cool. I think it's a cool addition if you're somebody who wants to play with friends. I think it's very engaging because now it's a better, like now instead of being like, yo, babe, you should play Sea of Stars. Now it's like, hey, babe, like we should play Sea of Stars. Let's me and you get together and let's play this shit. So I am kind of excited for this. I think it's a really cool addition, and I think it's a cool way of like bringing people together, or even just like having somebody like, hey, I know you don't really care about Sea of Stars, but do you want to play this with me? Because now we can. And it's like, oh, I'd play this with somebody as opposed to just having this game be there, you know?
Yeah. First and foremost, I need to say play Sea of Stars. If you have not, play Sea of Stars.
Yeah.
Play Sea of Stars. And one more time, play Sea of Stars. Game is fantastic. It's a wonderful game. Again, if you don't like turn-based, give it a shot because I feel like you'll be more engaged than you know. Lovely, 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 super lovely game. Absolutely love it. And again, I am a whore for co-op. So this is only going to add further to my interest in the game and playing it through and potentially helping other people who played it through, you know what I'm saying? Or who haven't played it through. I love that they did this. Again, these little innovations to kind of make the game more accessible because I feel like sometimes turn-based RPGs are a daunting task to some people. And this is no slight to anybody. It's like sometimes like, yo, you know what I'm saying? You're embarking on this journey by yourself. Like sometimes you want to get into it, but other times like, you know, having that extra, you know, having a companion there to walk through with you is also very fun. It's also very fun. It makes the experience more digestible sometimes because you're looking at like a 30, you know what I'm saying, 30-ish hour campaign. You're like, you know, damn, I don't know if I can, you know, run through all this myself, or I might put it down and not come back. But if you're doing it with somebody else, you might have a bit more incentive to. So I'm liking this. It's 100% is not going to take away from the gameplay aspect at all. I think it's only going to add more, again, more of those organic fun moments where it's like, you know, you might miss a timed attack and everybody's looking at you in the party like, what the hell is wrong with you, brother? Why did you miss that? And, you know, it might add some different dynamics to the game, which I think is very, very interesting. So this looks like a slam dunk to me. I cannot wait for this to roll through and see what people make of it and sink their teeth into when this mode drops. So I'm a fan. I'm a very, very big fan of Sea of Stars in general, but the kind of this marriage between them and more co-op based elements that are, you know, weaved into their gameplay. So I'm with it. I'm with it. I love it. All right, we can slide on here and talk about Nobody Wants to Die. Nobody Wants to Die, brand new game that we saw, I guess revealed somewhere. I believe, I can't remember where it was exactly. It might have just dropped on YouTube randomly, but again, the game is kind of based around like this dark futuristic dystopian noir type of thing. You're a detective, you know, you're kind of looking for a serial killer in New York in 2329. It looks a bit different, you know what I mean? I don't know where to pull the influences on it exactly. It's not, you know what I'm saying, it's definitely fueled by a lot of different things, but I'm trying to pin exactly where I think these influences come from, but I can't exactly. But what'd you make of Nobody Wants to Die?
Oh my god, I think there was like an Xbox game that this reminded me of. There was like a game where you had like this thing in your hand and then you changed like time in real time. It was like, I think it was like way back when I was like in middle school reading about it in like a Game Informer or something like that. That's kind of like what I thought of. But it looked cool. It looked CGI. Yeah. It's a cool concept, and I know it said in engine, but that could really mean a lot of things. So like, I'm not really holding my breath for anything, but I do think that it's a very interesting concept and something to definitely watch out for, but not holding my breath for something that I don't have clear gameplay of.
Yeah, I'm still waiting on that as well, but the concept definitely looks really, really cool, honestly. And the dude, okay, this is like halfway Blade Runner. That's what it looks like in half, because the dude looked a lot like Blade Runner. What was it called? Harrison Ford. So that's where that influence kind of like felt in my head. That BioShock a little bit because of, you know, like the rain and the, you know, the rooftops in a certain way, but just shit's just not underwater. That kind of grim color palette to it felt a little bit BioShocky, which I like. I think that's actually really cool. But yeah, just curious to see how this game kind of pans out. Is it, you know, is it like a full-on detective thing? Is it like a Detroit Become Human type of thing? Just need to see how it plays out. But the look of it looks really, really nice. Again, that kind of marriage between a Blade Runner, but like 40% Blade Runner, 60% BioShock. You know what I'm saying? In essence, but I like the look of it. I like the look of it. We got to see what becomes of it though. Switching gears here, let's talk about Rivals 2. Rivals of Aether 2, or Rivals 2 from Aether Studios. I don't know how to exactly pronounce it or describe it or whatever, but we actually got put onto this by Kendall. Ken knows it. Shout out to Kendall, because I had no idea this game even existed. But this game is I guess currently slowly, steadily on the way to being released in 2024. There's a Kickstarter that was involved with the launch, and again, another Smash variation, a Smash clone, if you will. Don't want to be too derivative, but after, you know what I'm saying, they had several games in, you know, in their universe. This Rivals 2 game looks very, very interesting. Was on display at a recent Finding tournament. What did you make of Rivals 2?
So I think Rivals, I own the first one, if I'm not mistaken. I played the first one and I thought it was pretty cool, but it's like we're still to this day are chasing the high that is Smash, right? I think we're still trying to find something that will give us the same feeling Smash did. This game looks really fucking good. It looks really good, but I'm also very scared because I don't know if it'll be enough, because the Smash community at this point, I don't even think they like platform fighters. I think they just like Smash Bros. And while this looks, I think this is the closest thing we might get to like the same style of Smash Bros. It doesn't have iconic characters, you know, it doesn't have the Nintendo licensing. It just looks like a really good, solid platform fighter. And there's certain things that I like that they added, like special get-ups and ledge get-ups. Like when I was watching the video, I was like, this is really interesting. But we haven't had a real successful Smash-like game. And I don't even like the most successful one I can think of is like Brawlhalla. And even now, when people are like, oh, that game isn't Smash, XYZ, da 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 da. Like Multiverses was up there, but Multiverses also kind of fumbled down release. So like, I don't know if there's going to be space for this. I really want there to be, because this game looks phenomenal. But I'm also not really holding my breath. Like I'm not really excited for another Smash-like game, because even like Nick Brawl, All-Star Brawl, like that game looked amazing, and I played it and it was fun, but it's not good enough. Like it just does not meet the threshold that we need for it to really be a contender in these streets, you know, like at the end of the day, people are still like, I'm gonna go play Smash. The only thing I can think of that was closest to it was Multiverses, because it was different enough to stand apart, but also like, so you didn't have to worry about people who are like, I don't want to play this because, you know, Smash heads are gonna be in there cooking me. But it was also like, it was also unique. It was also similar enough for people who do like Smash to give it a shot and to try it out. Like it was like, I feel like a really good space, but there was a lot of problems with the game and it just kind of fizzled out. So we're gonna see what happens with this game, because it looks really solid from like, at least from the trailer. Mechanically, it looks pretty fucking solid, but we'll see what happens, because I don't know if people are really trying to buy into another Smash like game when they're like, man, why am I spending all this money when I could just not and just keep playing Smash Bros.
Yeah, and it's tough, because one of the things that did stand out to me was a lot of the mechanical things. Again, like they looking through the video back, you know, they had like wave dashing returning, parrying returning, the wall jumps, of course, and then they had like you know, things that were new, like the shields that they added on top of the game, the ledges, the throws, but then things that again were completely new to the platform fighter in general, like, you know, like pummel specials, the ledge specials, you know what I'm saying, which I don't think I've really seen before like that. And again,
I've never seen that
get up
shit.
specials, like things that are really innovating what a platform fighter can actually do and the applications you can have in that game. This is some really, really good stuff. Again, from me, I'm a casual in all respects of the word of platform fighter and fighter in general. But from what I've played from Smash over the years and from seeing from other Smash variants or variations, whether it be the Brawlhallas, the Multiverses, the, you know what I'm saying, All-Star Brawls, all that type of stuff, Slap City, shout out to Slap City out there. Like this actually brings something so substantially different with the new gameplay mechanics and the feel of it. Like it looks really, really crisp. It looks sharp. It looks, again, in a gameplay speed and application sense, it looks very, very close, you know what I'm saying, in that ballpark of Smash. And I think people are kind of looking for that. But it's unfortunate. It's not a downside to me, but what it can be to the mainstream is that, you know, it has to be backed by something popular, whether it be the popular, you know, FGC, you know, personalities or prominent fighters, prominent players, or whether backed by an organization makes it the, you know, an Evo or something like that. It needs that bit of a push to substantiate it being in the platform fighting space, so people will take to it a little bit more. Like you said before, I forgot what game you're talking about. Another game actually we'll talk about in a second, but what's it called? it was if it's like you're like if what's it called, if Sonic Fox isn't playing it, I know probably not to check on it. But if Sonic Fox is like on it, like then let me tap in, let me figure out what's going on. You know what I mean? So it just needs a bit more of that substantiation. Again, I saw Alpha Rat in the video and stuff, which is again a prominent dude in certain spaces, but it just needs that little bit of push to start getting that look in, that honest look of it. All right, let's give it a try and see what happens. But from what I'm seeing, gameplay wise, production wise, like just the package that I'm seeing so far it's solid. It's solid work, and I hope that they keep pushing because this looks really good. It looks really promising for the platform fighting space.
Yeah, I want the best for them, and I think that this game is going to be really, really dope. It's just got to be pushed the right way, but it's like, man, it's so hard to get a Smash player not to play Smash. Like it's like you would think the Wi-Fi fights on this game would be the reason people would stop playing, and they don't. So I don't know. It's gonna be a communal effort.
100%. A lot of pull needs to be, you know what I'm saying, distributed on a lot of different sides for this to really get the start and momentum that it needs. So that's fair. But speaking of platform fighters, speaking of the devil, you know what I'm saying, Multiverses is back, baby. Multiverses is back in the building. They had their whole reveal trailer. Well, first they talked about they were in Happy Meals for like a solid week, but we actually got the real return trailer and developer update from Player First Games. Tony and the whole crew and all that stuff like that. They will be back on May 28th. They're talking about updated netcode. The game engine's now in Unreal Engine 5. A whole bunch of stuff is being recalibrated. Looked some new combos on different players and all that stuff. A whole lot of changes ahead of their May 28th drop when Multiverses is coming back. How are you feeling?
I am excited. I am not eating at McDonald's anytime soon. Really need to stop trying to push that on me. I'm good. I'm a grown man. I don't need a Happy Meal. The motherfuckers who are buying Happy Meals also, like, they're not kids.
I mean, dude went in and bought everything. He had all the sets. I'm like, bro, how many Happy Meals did that take?
Like, that's ridiculous. How many 4-piece nuggets did you have to eat for the rest of the week? Like, you meal prep with McDonald's. Like, relax, my man.
Insanity.
But I also just like, bro, the people who are excited for your game are not children. But anyway, I get it. Not the point. I'm excited for Multiverses to come back. That game was so much fucking fun. I hope the netcode. When I first got COVID, that's what really got me through it. Was like I was stuck in my room with my PlayStation. I'm like, fuck it, I'm gonna play Multiverses. It's like the only real competitive game I can play right now. And I had a blast, man. It was a lot of fun. What I will say is that, like, even when I did have COVID and I was in my room just like suffering, the netcode was dog shit. Like I was playing, I'm like, God damn, this shit is kind of rough, you know? So I do hope that the netcode, and they're saying first in class, like you can't just drop shit like that and not expect me to really be like, okay, let's get it. Like I'm expecting big things. And the thing is, like, when I was playing on my PC, the netcode wasn't awful, but you could tell the more updates we got, the more new shit we got, it did kind of go downhill, unfortunately. And I don't know if I can really even blame them for that. It might have just been like the game just wasn't, like, again, I don't think the game was ready when they were pushing it, so they really should not have been pushing it. But hopefully with this year gap, because you don't do something like what they just did. You don't pull a game out of quote unquote beta that's been in beta for a year plus for a year
and shut it down.
And shut it down for a year to bring it back and be like, yo, this shit's still ass. Like, I can't imagine they pulled that kind of a move on us. So I'm excited. I have high hopes for them. I truly do. But they are kind of in the firing range. Like, a lot of people are looking at it. I know, and there's people who literally made their entire fucking lives off of shitting on games, are quite literally have that date marked so they can play 20 minutes and talk shit on TikTok if we still have TikTok at that point. Like, there are people waiting for the downfall of this game because that's just their favorite thing to do. I don't think this game is going to be bad, but I'm not really super confident, but I would love to be proved wrong. I will be playing day one. Hopefully, I think I think they said that all the things that you paid for, like, are still in the game.
Yeah, still return.
Yeah, so fingers crossed we get some gas on release, but I don't know, like even when I remember when Black Adam dropped, I'm like, this character's super cool, and then I got into a game and it was dumb laggy. I was like, man, fuck this game, bro.
Yeah. And listen, this is my thing. The previous iteration of Multiverses, it did play a relatively dangerous game in terms of the content drop, because again, I feel like they didn't expect so many people to like take to it so quickly, and they're like, yo, this is just a beta, guys. You know what I'm saying? They did say it was
They
a beta.
use that too often.
Yeah, but again, it's like they said it was a beta, but they kept pushing it. At some point, I feel like in the back of their heads they knew they were going to close it. So I feel like if they open this beta for like, it was like an alpha, and then there was the beta that was open for months, and then they closed it. Like if they at least went in with the intention to say, hey, it's open here, we're gonna keep this open to just to, you know, get server data, understand, you know what I'm saying, the constraints that we need to, you know, that are put on the servers and stuff like that, the game, net code, run a couple things, and gave the end date, then I feel like this would have been, you know, in people's heads, the perception would have been a lot more palatable. But again, some people have the sour taste in their mouth from how they closed the doors on Multiverses the first time around. And so I understand that. I do, 100%. So the onus is on them to, again, not only correct the mistakes and you know that they've had from that first run, again with the net code, you know, buff up the things that they were deficient on, but come out the gate with, again, a solid offering day one. You know what I mean? Again, that's going to be important to really get people back into the fray, because if they do this right, they're going to be in contention again, because they have, again, like we said before on the last thing, they have enough of a difference in their gameplay to smash, to be you know, an acceptable platform fighter, and they have the IP backed by them to just be in the mix for such a long time if they do this right. You know what I'm saying? Everybody was doing their top 5 what Warner Brothers characters we want to see in the game and stuff like that. I remember I was doing that stuff, and I still want to do it. You know what I mean? Like, they have the formula to succeed. It's just the little ins and outs of making sure they address the problems that they had in the beta properly, and give people the best first impression possible. Again, giving them their stuff back day one, you know, that they spent on. It's tough when they don't have access to the stuff that they bought. People are going to be in a fit about that, we know. But, you know, you got to start on that best, you got to plant that best foot forward as hard as you can to really get people back in the door. I feel like people will come in regardless, but then some of the, again, people who had tenured experience with it, they're like, yo, we you know what I'm saying, what happened? I bought some shit on there, I can't access it now, what happened? Like, you really got to get them, you know what I'm saying, an experience that they've been waiting for, because they have been, literally, because they spent money on it. But I'm excited personally. I think this is, I knew, in my head, I'm like, I was never mad at them personally, because I didn't spend any money on it, one, but two, I knew at some point they were just, they needed to calibrate some things further. So them closing their doors, it's not, you know what I'm saying, I was never mad at them for that. I think the last time we talked about it, when they closed, I said the same thing, and we said the same thing, like, yo, as long as you're going back and addressing the right things properly, I will never be mad at you guys. You know what I mean? For getting the net code right, getting the flow of content correct, tweaking some of these things, you know what I'm saying, nerfing Taz, jeez, oh my gosh, nerf that bastard, bro, pain in my ass.
I don't think he was the biggest deal, but yeah, I guess agree.
He was up there. He was up there. He was def up there. I was about to say nerf him. Unfortunately, you know what I'm saying, Finn did get the nerf, but it is what it is. Jake,
unfortunately,
Jake, that piece of shit. Oh my gosh, that's a whole nother thing. Let's not make it personal. Let's not make it personal. But again, making those roster tweaks to make sure things are palatable. Again, they said they added some new combos to make things a bit more approachable for some people, which is perfect. Again, taking that time to optimize the game from, again, a back-end standpoint, gameplay standpoint, content flow standpoint, presentation standpoint. It looks really good in Unreal Engine 5. If you're doing these things to fully optimize it and set it up for success for the future, that however many months you close down the doors for the game, that's going to be a thing of the past. I feel like people are ready to already forgive and forget what that shit was. You know what I mean? So it's just about taking that best first step forward now on the 28th. Can you drop this? You know, what's it going to look like? Are you going to have all the characters from the beta ready to go? My personal hope is that everybody from the beta automatically drops in day one, and you have enough content loaded to where you can do character drops and not have it affect your flow. You know what I mean? Because I don't know if it was the leaks or a lot of speculation, stuff like that. There was a lot of characters already set to come into the game. So I'm hoping that we don't necessarily take away from what we saw in the beta, or at least have a way to, you know what I'm saying, dish them out quickly to where people have their characters again that they saw from the beta, and then you start building on with the new roster consistently. So yeah, my biggest worry about this game has always been the flow of content to keep things interesting for people. So, you know, I hope that they've addressed all that. And overall, again, I'm very excited. You know, again, the first tournament we ran was multiverses. You know what I'm saying? The first tournament we've ever done online in terms of shout to, you know, all for growth, shout to growth. Like we've done, it was multiverses. Like that game garnered that much attention and that much interest in our eyes and our hearts. Like, yo, this shit can be fire. So I'm absolutely ready to see it make a comeback. And I think with the changes that they've made, I get the impression that they've set themselves up for success rather than duck the smoke of closing their doors over the past few months to get the game right. So, you know, I'm excited. I'm excited.
Yeah, I think this game is going to be. And as somebody who's played a lot of it on my channel, I'm also excited. I just like know how these kinds of things. There's two ways this goes about. They took the time, they did everything right, and we're gonna get a sick game on release, or they didn't change enough, and the player base still is upset with them for what happened. And even to this day, I don't really blame them for anything because I understand exactly what they did. They thought they could do it, and it was kind of like it was similar to what happened with Power World, but the difference is that Power World is not a live service game the same way that Multiverses is a live service game. And it's not a game that, like, if you picked up a POW that was overpowered, that overpowered POW could be overpowered for like 3 months and then get patched later and we won't be upset. If one character in Multiverses is overpowered for more than 2 weeks, you're losing players now. Like, you're losing players now. And that's just the problem with the game. So I think that this game has a lot of potential, and I really truly hope that they can capitalize on what they have here, because this is like the gem. But now if they don't, Rivals 2 with the people, you know what I'm saying? Like, if y'all can swoop in and help the homies out, because that game also, like, if you mix the two combat, like the combat with one and the roster of the other,
that's nasty.
I don't
work.
know.
Hey, that's formidable. That shit is formidable. 100, man, that's crazy. But yeah, we'll see, man, we'll see. But talking about the next updates and what could be coming down the pipeline, what is coming down the pipeline for the finals on their season 2 update, we got a lot of new, you know what I'm saying, interesting looks on gadgets and abilities. We have, like, again, I believe a new map, again, the gateway for lights, which is kind of like this portal device or a portal grenade kind of in some sort of way, a data reshaper for mediums, a dematerializer for mediums, just like taking things out of the walls and, you know what I'm saying, just creating openings and buildings and spaces to get through, an anti-gravity cube for heavies, which is, again, lifting everything up in a certain radius of the grenade or cube, wherever you drop it down. A whole bunch of new looks. This looks really, really good to me. But when again, how are you making this season 2 update for the trailers? You interested?
I am interested. Fuck the finals for using AI, but I am interested.
Yes.
It looks really, really dope, and I think they're moving in the right direction. This is another game that kind of blew up, but like, people were like, where's the content? Where's the content? And I think the beta to me was more fun than the actual game, because I unlocked things way faster in the beta. And I didn't really have to spend money in the beta. Like, you kind of were just getting things. But it makes sense that now they're like, yo, that was the beta. This is the real game. We need red. I get it. But this new season looks pretty interesting. I like what they're doing, because like that dematerializer or the even just having the portal gun is gonna be really good for when people wanted to like camp in a spot or have turrets. Like, oh man, I can't wait to like just open the floor up. And like, you could always blow the floor up. That was also always an option, but this also like changes a good amount of shit in the game. I think they're really, really smart. The 5v5 mode also looks like so much fun, but needed them to expand the teams on that, honestly. That the game looks really they're kind of cooking. They know what they're doing. They know what they're doing over there. This looks like it's gonna be a pretty sick season. I may have to tap back in. I don't even really play the finals like that, but I don't know. That is it's pretty dope. It's pretty dope. Yeah, I'm 100% planning to tap back in at some point, though. This looks getting really fun. Again, creating as many different approaches to the game adds so many different applications. That's what I want. You know what I'm saying? Like, it's just like infinite ways to just tackle a situation, giving us tools to solve problems and letting us go crazy with it. I love it. The dematerializer, the anti-gravity cube, like, again, the trailer showcased already like 8 different ways you could use it. Like, yo, I'm very excited for this. Very, very excited. The 5v5 mode specifically is something that I want to. As much as I love 3v3 squads, I feel like
me, if I'm playing multiplayer, especially I'm playing like a multiplayer competitive mode, I would love to have a bigger squad involved. 4 is typically probably perfect. Again, the classic arena type, I guess the arena type ranks that player count. But 5v5, I love 6v6. I love ground war. I am a ground war whore. I do love those big team battle type maps and game modes. But 5v5 is perfect for this type of game with the sizing of the maps and stuff and the approaches. That's chaos, and I kind of love that, especially when you can be there with your friends. So the final season 2 looks really, really solid. And again, that big question of can we get good content, good differentiable content supplied to us consistently, and season 2 looks solid so far to at least answer that question for the finals.
Yeah, they know what they're doing. Hire some voice actors.
Yeah, facts. All I need to say, I agree fully. Moving on to the next story here. According to Gematsu, we have confirmation that Hunter x Hunter Nen Impact is confirmed for PS5, Switch, and PC, and it is going to be 2D fighting. It is not going to be an arena fighter. It's not going to be 3D. It will be a 2D fighter. When? I know this was a big question mark from a few episodes back, but how are you feeling about this confirmation?
Really, really happy that it's not a arena fighter. Again, if you're an arena fighter fan, congrats, but this is something that I think you need kind of both. I think you need a mix of both, because a 2D fighter, it's just like you get that competitiveness, and I also feel like you get a lot of room to really make your characters very unique, because you're kind of restricted in and having like not having to worry about so many different things. I am excited to see this. I'm still kind of like on the fence because I don't know how I feel about a Hunter x Hunter fighting game, because I watched the anime. I'm a fan of the anime. And I'm just interested in the movesets. Like, I really, really want to know what that's going to look like. But I do think that a 2D fighter is so good in an anime, especially because like you don't have to worry about like janky 3D models. Like, you could really get away with like making it look like the anime. So I'm excited. Will I be tapping in? I still need to see more from the side of like the mechanics and how the game plays, but I think this is a step more in my direction. Like, they're kind of walking like, hey bro, you looking at him like, yo, I'm peeping.
Yeah, no, I hear it, and I'm not mad at this. Again, I agree with the general concept of, unless you're doing things to really innovate that certain lane, arena fighters should generally not be. They should be avoided. You know what I'm saying? I would prefer doing things on a 2D plane, unless you're doing things like Tekken, which I'm not mad at either. It's just, again, that my barrier to entry is higher because I got to learn all the fucking combos, which is, I don't know what a star command is. I really don't know in my heart of hearts.
It's neutral.
It's fucking neutral. Damn it.
Just don't press. You got to put your movement. You got to stop, not move at all, and then you got to do the other. It's stupid, but go ahead.
Fucking, how the fuck is a
for
star
all the people
neutral?
Yeah. So for all the people who don't know,
say
if it says forward star and then down forward, it means if you're using a joystick, put the joystick back in the neutral position, or if you're using your D-pad, don't press any buttons and then press something else. Give us a beat of space.
Thank you, Wen. We appreciate that, honestly, because what the fuck?
Of course, anytime.
Gosh, man, this is some bullshit. One day I'll be a goddamn, what is it called? The fucking Fujin red rank, whatever you call them, type shit. But again, generally, I would like games to opt into the 2D space, because again, there's that focus. You know what I'm saying? I feel like it's less gimmicky when it goes into arena fighters, less gimmicky when it goes to 2D as opposed to arena fighters. So there might be room to really flesh out the gameplay, what it looks like. Again, the characters, the variety that you can provide with these characters. Again, like, they're most likely going to have their full move sets. And this makes me, again, slightly more excited. Again, one probably more so, but this definitely makes me more excited to see what gameplay comes of this. Apparently the game is going to be playable by the public for the first time at Evo Japan 2024. So it's this April 27th to 29th. So we're going to see the first gameplay snippets of it there. So I'm excited. I'm excited to really see how it looks in real time.
Yeah, no, I'm also excited. I just want to see footage, man. I just need to see what it's going to play like, because 2D games can also suck. I'm not going to sit here and pretend like 2D is the best way, but it is like a formula that has been one of the most successful. Like, I know what to expect from a 2D game. Whereas like a 3D game, I'm not gonna sit here and say the formula doesn't work.
but how many of y'all are enjoying that Jujutsu Kaisen game? Let's get a temperature check on y'all. Like y'all were y'all fucking with that, or imagine if that game was similar to Fighters. You know what I'm saying? You know, I'm just throwing that out there. Just saying.
Only shit that's cursed about that damn game is that player count, man. That shit ain't getting up to 10s thing.
And I'm not trying to be a hater, but at the end of the day, the people have spoken, and it's not even me. It's y'all.
Say you did it, not me.
Like y'all are saying that shit is trash. I ain't saying nothing about it.
Word. But we can slide on to the next topic here. Let's talk about Ubisoft again. It was GDC this past a couple of days so far, and Ubisoft has been unveiling what we call Neo NPCs, or what they've dubbed Neo NPCs, which is going to be their first player-facing generative AI prototype that could transform the way players interact with non-playable characters in video games and open new frontiers for gameplay that natively integrates generative AI features, which was the quote given to us from an Andy Robinson article in VGC. Again, just a whole news post there. So apparently this is how it's broken down. The NPCs are not created by a machine, but by a writer who will shape the character backstory and conversation style, and then the AI will tweak once the language learning model starts improvising dialogue. So it still has the human base apparently, but the AI is just in to start really generating lines and stuff around the frame of what the writer will make for the AI. And again, they're really pushing to kind of build that NPC relationship, the NPC variety with AI technology. So what are you making of this?
To me, I'm not really super happy about this. I get what they want to do, but my biggest concern is, while yes, there is still a writer writing a prompt for an AI model and maybe like tweaking here and there, I don't think that the problem is just money. The problem is money. This is like a little step. Like no, we still got writers working on it, bro. There's still people working on it, but at the end of the day, the better this gets, the more corners get cut. Like I can easily, without a shadow of a doubt, see them being like, no, of course we're going to keep the people. We're going to keep hiring people. Why would we not hire people? And then later, the writer team gets smaller. The voice actors get less and less. And they're like, no, we still have some people, but it's just less because we have a smaller budget. We're trying to give the best possible da-da-da-da-da. But the profits don't decrease. The budget gets smaller. The people, the teams get smaller. But the profits continue to grow. That's the shit that is blowing me. It's not about what's happening now. It's what will happen later. If you told me like we're doing this solely for random NPCs in the city, like somebody's just writing prompts for all of them, and then like an AI. So like when you talk to a random civilian that has nothing to do with the story, they have shit to say outside of like great weather we're having. I kind of would be like, okay, I see that. But I don't think that it's just gonna stop there. Because of greed, because of cutting corners, because of being profitable. Like it's just not. It's something that I don't think is going to stop. There's going to be a limit to it. There's going to be a boundary. Like that's my issue with it. Now, if there is no boundary, if they can do this the right way and not hurt people's jobs, then I'm for it. But I just don't see it happening.
Yeah. I'll flip it. Let me talk about the the fucking veggies of the situation first. Again, the pathway and the slippery slope to abuse something like this and undercut writers and workers and storytellers in game development, it could be very, very easy to do that. And we've been seeing that across tech in general, across entertainment in general, but this is a very serious situation. It can't be taken lightly. Any introduction of AI cannot be taken lightly, in my opinion. It has to be scrutinized at a proper level, because again, if we let some shit go unchecked, thousands of people may lose their jobs, and again, the human element of making certain things goes away, and I do not want that. I will 100% be very wary of it, and I'll be very cognizant of those inclusions in these type of tests, because who knows how much the human element will be undercut in the name of, let's get some profits to get this shit out there, let's see what works. Nah, that's not it. But the upside of this, the you know what I'm saying, the meat of this, the protein, the dessert, whatever you want to call it, I like how they've laid out this application. Actually, I appreciate how they've laid out this approach. Again, you keep the writer central to this process by giving the frame of reference to see the origin. You know, who is this NPC? What are their motives? What are their their quirks and things like that. You give them the agency to work on the character itself, the NPC itself, but then you add in AI to assist, keyword assist, the efforts creatively of this of the writer and stuff like that, and add in some, the reactions, the little things that might fit. And again, as long as you give them give the devs the opportunity to tweak and to rearrange, to optimize what the AI is creating, because I'm pretty sure, again, they can make something that's pretty cool, but but tweaking it to really be true to what the creators have spawned for the NPC or for the character that's in question, that is paramount. Giving them responsibility, giving them agency, giving them authority over AI's assistance. That's what needs to kind of stay consistent. That's the theme that needs to be, throughout any type of AI inclusion, especially in gaming, especially from a narrative sense. How often can we have control to rein in the influence of AI, and not let it go unchecked, and make sure narrators and creators and storytellers are leading the story, not the AI. That's my biggest thing. But outside of that, it looks really cool. Again, there was like a little demo phase of different demos, like kind of show off how the AI was going to interact, the NPC was interacting with the AI prompts and stuff like that, kind of dynamically as you introduced, like it was like a heist planning stage mission that kind of showed like, hey, the AI was talking about let's do it this way, but then you provided some feedback to say, hey, why don't we do it this way, and then they responded accordingly. Again, if this helps to create more dynamic interactions with the NPCs in the world that you're living in or playing in, and creates more immersion and more organic, closer to life, closer to realistic expectations, or close to realistic responses in the world, I like it. But it has to be done with the intention and in the bounds of keeping the narrators and the human element of the creation of these tools like in the center. That needs to be central. That's my only thing. As long as that's there, this is actually cool. And I think something like this could work out. But again, you have to keep the checks and balances to make sure the human element stays central to the creation of these things. That's my only concern. But outside of that, I think it's actually really fucking cool. I do like it.
And it's really difficult for I want to say, like, the consumer to really sit there and be like, I know that this could be cool for me. I know that this would be a really dope thing to have. But it's something that you have to remember, that at the end of the day, while this could be a really cool concept, this could be really cool for us to have NPCs that are super dynamic, you need to understand that the flip side of that will be people cutting corners and going into a position of like being like less, what's the word for it? Having less people working on it, and having like a small group of people who are money focused making these decisions. And it's like delaying your reward now of like cool AI tech with the hopes that it will keep gaming less and less capitalistic. Because at the end of the day, if we start removing the human elements of it, we're going to be playing AI generated games, and it's going to be very formulaic. And I feel like games till this day right now are very formulaic in the way that are approached and made. So imagine an actual computer being like, let's find the most profitable way of doing things instead of let's find innovative, cool ways of doing things. I think it's something to be excited for, but also be wary of, because at the end of the day, the people who are making these decisions, the people who are making the big decisions of like, let's pursue AI, like they're worried about the business, not the gaming. Like it's a gaming business, but they're worried about business.
Yeah. Something to always be wary of, man. Something to always seriously be wary of. But again, I can actually say right now, I'm going to say lowercase w for Ubisoft on this one. This could seriously be something that actually provides a lot of depth and the immersion that people want. Because again, shit could be Starfield AIs. No slight to Starfield, Bethesda and them, but you know what I'm saying? We want to see more. We want to see more depth on that front. So this is good. But again, checks and balances, guys. Checks and balances. But let's move on here. The GDC updates are not finished. We got more, but from, you know what I'm saying, from Fortnite, from Epic Games, they talked about some, again, updates that are coming to the game, namely first person mode mainly coming to creative entering this year, a Fortnite x Ninjago collab coming soon, which already has some gameplay out and about some of those Lego figures in in the space, Fall Guys being playable in Fortnite itself, games being playable, Fortnite being playable in UEFN, in 2025, some added depth, more realistic characters and stuff like that. The creator mode is going to go crazy, a whole bunch of updates to that and the engine that they're providing for Fortnite, and an iOS re-release this year. It seems like the beef may be slightly over, or at least sanctioned by the government, to say just drop the damn game on iOS again, and so they're doing that. All the new updates, your take on that? When
Fortnite is definitely cooking. Epic is really smart in turning all of their kind of consolidating their IPs into one space, but I also hope that this isn't something I'm going to regret saying, because I still think that there is value in having Fall Guys in their own thing. I don't want to have to launch Fortnite to launch every other game that I have via Epic.
Not another launcher. Launcher for a launcher? Like,
I'm launching my Epic launcher to launch Fortnite to launch Fall Guys. That's kind of wild.
Jeez.
But adding the Fall Guys stuff into Fortnite, I don't think is bad, because then you can get. I just hope that they let us get real freaky in the creative area. Like, let us make our own Fall Guys maps. Like, let us do a bunch of cool shit. I think it would be cool for the creatives who are spending a lot of time in Fortnite creative. And you imagine dropping in and being like, yo, we're dropping at the Fall Guys hexafall or whatever. Like, that'd be funny. Like, there's cool things you could get done. So, fingers crossed that this isn't something that I regret saying, but I think it's cool, but don't want everything to just turn into Fortnite, there's value in variety, and there's value in having your things a little separate.
Yeah. I definitely do. I definitely can't agree with that. Outside of it, like, damn, bro, Fortnite is just, I will say, I keep saying this and I will say it again. It's not my favorite game of all time, but it's definitely making a case for one of the most impactful games of all time, with how much they're doing and how much, again, just support is being fueled into the game from Epic and stuff. Like, dog, I don't know if you saw some of the snippets from GDC about some of the physics changes and some of the engine updates to Fortnite. Like, they were doing bowling ball strikes, and you could break through walls and stuff like that, like destructible environment type of things. Like, they're adding so much into the game. Like, it's crazy to see how far they're pushing the boundaries of it. Like, it's mind-boggling to me, like, how cool a lot of this shit is. It's dope, bro. It's dope. So first person mode, again, even more incentive for me to drop into the game. First person mode is gonna look probably super dope. Fall Guys in Fortnite is insane. I don't know if you can use I don't know if you have regular Fortnite characters in the Fall Guys, I guess, mode or whatever. That would be funny, or just have them in the suit. That would be cool. And I was re-released. Y'all finally ended the beef, just to get y'all money, bro. Just get y'all back. Don't worry about it. Y'all be fine. Don't pay Apple no mind. They got their own lawsuit coming, so y'all should be okay. But yeah, overall, listen, Fortnite continues to win. Fortnite continues to win and prove why it's the biggest game in the world. And you know what I'm saying, if the aliens come down, they need a representative, bro. I'm gonna keep saying it every single time. Fortnite's probably gonna be the one. Fortnite's probably gonna be the one to be picked.
Yeah, no, Fortnite is it's so big right now. It's too big.
Insane. But let's slide on to something else from GDC that we saw that was very, 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 very damn good. Let's talk about Marvel 1943 Rise of Hydra. Now, again, this was the game that we heard is going to be from, again, the brand new studio. I believe it was Skydance, Amy Hennig, she worked on a lot of PlayStation stuff a few years back. A whole different team. And again, this is talking about the kind of the adventure of Captain America and Black Panther in France during World War II. Just a whole lot of stuff. And we got a just kind of a 2-minute trailer and an extra snippet of the game. And holy hell, what this game looks ridiculous. I don't know what's going on, but when again, the world's been reacting to it, we're seeing it come out now. How do you feel about this?
It looks phenomenal, but of course this was all very cinematic parts, and it doesn't, but I'm not saying cinematic as in I don't think this is in the game. It looks pretty in game to me.
Yeah,
we didn't see actual gameplay, and that's the one thing that's a little concerning. I wonder if we're going to be switching back and forth between I don't wonder if we're gonna be switching back and forth between Cap and Black Panther.
Mhm.
I think the voice acting is like top notch. Like, man, this is gonna be such a cool game. And I honestly was not expecting it to be. I was like, man, who cares? I don't know who cares. But I was just like, I
don't
just
know.
don't see
Yeah.
it being good. You know what I'm saying? Like, we haven't got a good Marvel game in a minute outside of Spider-Man, but that's Spider-Man.
Mhm.
So seeing this, it does raise the hopes quite a bit. You know, EA, you might have something here.
Bro.
But you know, we still have to see some gameplay.
I keep it a stacked bundle with you. I know we talked about people saying like you know, the PS5 Pro and the Xbox Series X Pro and stuff like that probably wasn't need. For some people, I understand why you might need this. I understand why you might need that. Like, this looks insane, bro. I looked at this trailer and I'm like, dog, this is the next level we're starting to look at, bro, and talk about. Some people were like, yo, is this just a regular movie? Is this the movie I didn't see live action? Dog, the graphics look that crisp. I'm very interested in, again, the plot lines and stuff like that. I find it very funny that they were trying to, you know what I'm saying, set Cap up like he really stand a chance against my boy, you know what I'm saying, Zuri. But it is what it is. We're gonna leave that for another time. The setting, again, looks super cool. The graphics of it looks really cool. The acting performance is solid, super solid. I cannot wait to play this game. The only, again, problem that people were having was with the depiction of Azuri, which was T'Challa's grandfather, I believe. Which, it was T'Challa's grandfather. And again, the voice actor Carrie Payton is a bit lighter skinned, so he kind of just went with the mocap of him. And you know, Black Panthers are typically, you know, all darker skin, you know what I'm saying, usually have the same mold and look, so people were kind of like up in arms about that. I personally am like, I mean, they could make him a little bit darker in post. That would be nice. Is it the craziest hill to die on? Not necessarily, but I would love for them to at least tweak the skin tone a little bit. But if not, I'm not necessarily going to be the maddest over it. But, you know, because it's actually the actor's performance itself. But outside of that, bruh, 2025, this game is coming next year. Dog, next year, oh my gosh, this game looks ridiculous, bro. This might put a whole different light on, again, these Marvel games, because outside of Spider-Man, we're like, you know what I'm saying, and Midnight Suns, give me Midnight Suns some love. Like, outside of them two, you're like, damn, all right, we got to really lock in over the next 2 years. Like, what are we going to see next? You know what I'm saying? And Guardians of the Galaxy. I'll show some of the Guardians of the Galaxy too. But what are we going to see next from this next batch of Marvel games that we're getting from the licensed stuff? And this, the Black Panther game from Cliffhanger, I believe, and the EA game, the Iron Man game from Motive, you know, there's some pretty decently big expectations on this. But so far, Marvel 1943, this looks amazing. I am seated.
Yeah, I can't wait to see it. We need to know, the streets need to know, will Bucky be saying the hard R? I'm sure that's on everybody's mind. I think my money's on yes, but we will see what happens. I don't know, 'cause that'll be wild. A side quest, you know, the side quest of like making Bucky not racist.
No. That's insane, bro. That's insane. He doing the hell. I'm saying the salute. So I'm like, hey, brother, that arm is not that. It's not meant for that. It's not meant for that.
I also can't wait for the Marvel's Gone Woke debate where people are like,
gosh,
they're having you fight Nazis. What is this political agenda? And it's like,
too
well,
harsh,
technically they're Hydra
too harsh
agents.
for my blood. Too harsh for my blood, guys. I think it's a bit of an attack on you know what I'm saying, people that aren't colored.
They're painting white men as the villain.
Like,
it's like, well, the villain is the villain is Red Skull, and it's like, yes, but what was he before he turned into Red Skull? White, exactly. Haha.
It's a point for us. Like, dog, you do not understand where you're at right now. You don't get it. You really don't get it. Oh my gosh, it's ridiculous. That's a whole nother thing, bro. Oh my gosh, people just saying DEI in comments, not even know what the fuck it means. Shit is stupid. But anyways, Marvel 1943, this shit looks great. We just need to see the gameplay to validate it, you know what I'm saying, fully, and see what's going on. But the CGI, the acting performances, you know what I'm saying, again, a lot of that did look actually an engine with like kind of like the POVs of them walking like behind the shoulder. That looks really cool. I just want to see how it opens up and, you know, how it feels, because like some of like the shield throws and the combat looks really like punchy, a little bit slow, but I want to see how it opens up when you're in a full gameplay segment. And I feel like we're gonna get that later this year. If they're showing this now at GDC and it's coming out in 2025, I think Summer Game Fest at the very, very, very latest, we get Game Awards season and we'll get a full look at this gameplay. So I'm excited.
Same. I can't wait to see what this game shapes up to be.
100, man. And this story right here, which is interesting, a rumor, so to speak. This was talking about Bungie and Sony, man, and what they think of each other, man. There was just this rumor mill, a rumor going around the rumor mill talking about, just the perception that Sony has of Bungie right now, and apparently it's been very, very negative. Some people have claimed that Sony see Bungie as a failed investment, and the strategies of them recouping losses haven't gone their way. They're trying to kind of think of ways to, I guess just kind of steer the ship back on course, so to speak, from Bungie's kind of perspective, and they're not in the best state with how Destiny's 2 is going, and their sales numbers are kind of lower than we thought, and it's kind of a close situation. But again, we kind of thought about where they are with their independence, and if the financial results didn't hold up, are they kind of in a bit of a shakeup to be kind of fully acquired in sense and having their independence taken away by Sony? I don't know what's going to shape up to be, but when kind of your thoughts on some of these rumors that are sprouting?
I mean, I'm not going to say it was a failed investment, but I don't really hear too many people being like happy I got into Destiny. I don't really hear people being like, bro, this is the best time to play Destiny right now. I think PlayStation should quite literally look at some of their leadership, maybe make a couple decisions on who needs to stick around, who needs to move on out. And I don't want anybody to lose their job, but at the end of the day, the game is... I haven't heard not one good Destiny news in years. And I follow people who love Destiny. And some of them are literally like, I'm never going to say I'm going to... Like, I think I follow Goliathan. That motherfucker's been more on Helldivers than Destiny, and that Destiny's his game.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? Like, I've seen a lot of people whose entire content for a full year was doing Destiny freestyle. Shout outs to Amaze. But like, I haven't seen not one Destiny clip from anybody right now.
And I understand that we're in between like a big release, but I have never seen it this sad before. Even right now, between the new releases coming out, when that shit dropped, the needle was not moved. The needle was very much in place. So I don't want to say that they're a fail because that's kind of harsh. But what I will say, as a fan of Destiny, as somebody who really loves the lore, like I'm not buying the next expansion. They kind of lost me with the last one, and I think they need I think the game needs changing from the ground up. I think from the ground up, needs a lot of change to happen. Not just a new subclass, not just a new set of abilities. I think we need system changes. We need something to make this game feel fresh because it just doesn't right now.
And this is the thing. Bungie is in a very, very dire strait right now. And I don't think from my opinion, I don't think there's, unless a drastic, change happens with the next DLC that's coming up and all stuff like that, I don't think there's anything they can really do to avoid them being taken over or losing their independence at this point. I don't think there is. I don't think they have anything in the pipeline like that. I've heard there's been a bunch of internal changes with Marathon. They're kind of going back and forth over, what that game's going to look like, and we don't know how that game's going to hit. I don't think it's going to be a crazy, I don't think it'll be a monumental shifter unless the word of mouth gets really crazy about that game, which will be very tough in a shooter space. But I hope Marathon comes out to be as best as possible, because I want that game to be good, as I want all games to be really good and enjoyable. But from this standpoint right now, your flagship Destiny 2 is kind of in the mud. Your monetization strategy with the Destiny 2 is also leading to, again, just adverse effects. Your gameplay is adding to adverse effects. Your content roll is leading to adverse effects. Nothing is hitting for Destiny, and that's your flagship. So everything else under that funnel is in trouble. If you're in trouble, if the top thing is in trouble, everything else is falling down the tunnel. And I feel like Sony sees a lot of value in what Destiny is, what Bungie is, and what they have. But I feel like they're kind of on two different pages right now, and with the fight for Bungie to keep their independence, they want to try and keep certain things the way they are. And I feel like Sony is, and I've said this before, Sony's in desperate need of a multiplayer juggernaut. They're in need of that multiplayer powerhouse to really carry them through and you know, set them up for success in different areas. And this is kind of a live service and a shooter and a multiplayer game that covers all those bases. And just to get them in the house to get their expertise is already one thing. But if they're not performing and Sony put all that money, they're gonna 100% push to get them like under their wing, fully acquire them, you know what I'm saying, rearrange their teams or whatever, and try and get the Destiny to the place they want to be, so they can start, you know what I'm saying, getting profits off of that. And then the greater sense of Bungie, make them push out some stuff that's worthwhile, at least in the eyes of Sony and how they do it. It's just, they haven't fully meshed. That's the point I'm trying to make here. They haven't fully meshed, and I don't think any true cohesion between the two parties will happen unless, you know what I'm saying, the only outcome really is like fully absorbing Bungie. If I'm Sony, you fully absorb Bungie, kind of rearrange their makeup and their structure, the skeleton of the company, and start pushing things in the way Sony knows how to make it. Kind of simplifying things, at least under their terms, because that's the only way this is gonna really truly work. You know what I'm saying? Like with the consultancy work, that's cool, with them trying to do their own thing but still trying to get, you know, give Bungie agency. This kind of trial period of giving Bungie their own independence, you know what I'm saying, has honestly, it's shown that, you know, Bungie's kind of not in a good place, and they can't really lead it to the place that they want to lead it right now, if that's the case. But you know, it's tough. It's tough, but I don't think there's any possibility where Bungie maintains the same course. Either they break off and this whole acquisition thing, you know what I'm saying, they kind of spin off and they're not affiliated with PlayStation anymore, which 9 times out of 10 is not going to happen. There's no chance in hell after PlayStation spent all that money. And the second option, which is going to be the most likely one, they just fully get absorbed. They lose all their rights to independence and autonomy, and PlayStation kind of, you know, they carry on and do what they're supposed to do. And it sucks because I love Bungie. You know what I'm saying? Bungie made Halo. Again, Bungie was really a part of some really pivotal times for multiplayer, for shooters, for online gaming in general. But I feel like they've just lost their way and got mired through a lot of different things with Destiny 2. And honestly, it's tough to see. It's tough to see. Even Destiny players, again, when you were there in the trenches, bro. I left the Destiny Moon DLC. I left off early. I got off the ship of Bungie early because I was like, bro, I don't know if I can sit through this. And again, just off of how they open up content with like all the different monetization models and paying for packs and all stuff like that, and then the content drops and raids. It, to me, it's like you don't know how to sustain that model properly, even though you had the audience for a little while. You didn't sustain it, and now PlayStation has to come in and like try and like really get you guys on the right path before you completely ruin Destiny for forevermore, because they're gonna want to continue that game for years and years. But they need a way to steady the ship, because Bungie isn't driving it in the right direction. At least is what I get from this.
Yeah, no, and as a Destiny player, like I've tried to go back multiple times, but it's just every time you go back and there's like 5 things I like, there's 10 things I hate, and then the monetization is just, to me, unbearable. I don't know if anybody really sits there and thinks to themselves like, oh man, I actually really like what Bungie does when it comes to their monetizations. Every time a DLC drops, it's confusing because there's certain things that they talk about when they're announcing a new DLC that isn't even included in the regular DLC pack. You got to buy the deluxe edition if you want that extra shit.
Mm-hmm.
And it's sad, really. Like, it's just getting to a point where like the game, I just feel like is not gonna be able to be saved. And even when they went free to play, it didn't really even feel free to play. Like, all the free to play shit in Destiny is like, Final Fantasy 14 has better free to play model than Destiny does, and that's crazy when you really think about it, because Final Fantasy 14 isn't even a free to play game. It just has a bunch of shit you can do for free, whereas Destiny's like, you can do some stuff for free, but almost everything else is locked behind a paywall.
Yeah. It's tough, but again, the prevailing quote that's in my head is what happened to the game I love, and just replace Bungie with the word game in that quote. You know what I mean? It's like, I don't think they can maintain their autonomy at this point. I feel like they're past it now, and Sony's just gonna have to fully take over and trying to make things right, simplify things, and you know, take the expertise that Bungie has on multiplayer space and fully apply it in their way. They can't be laissez-faire anymore. They can't let you run free because you're running stuff into the ground at this point. And Bungie kind of needs that refresh in a certain way. Yeah, that's just me though. I'm just fucking random gamer living amongst alligators and shit like that, you know. So it's just an opinion, brother. It's just an opinion. But let's move on to the trailer trove. We had a bunch of stuff that came through over the past week and change. We got to do a show review one of these days. We got to talk about a season of a show one of these days, man. But we got to watch through a show in general first. You know what I'm saying? Bear with us, but I think we should. But that's not the news that we're talking about today. Let's start with the first part of the trailer trove, which is the development for Eternals 2 has been axed. It has been done. Eternals 2 is not happening. It's no longer in development as of this stage. Amidst a whole bunch of different chops and changes from Marvel and stuff over recent weeks and months. The studio is apparently been said to be focusing on less riskier movies and projects, you know what I'm saying, with all their films that they're putting out, and they want to lock in on more guaranteed hits. So what does that mean for you? How do you feel about kind of Eternals 2 just not being a thing anymore and the direction of Marvel Studios now?
I think that Eternals 2 not being a thing is stupid because it kind of set it up to be a sequel. I feel like it's weak on their part. I'm not gonna lie to you. I know that this may sound weird, but if you started something, you might as well finish it. You guys have $1 bajillion in the bank. I don't know why y'all can't, like, you know, y'all can afford to make a bomb or two. It's also something that I think is kind of annoying because like their whole, we want to focus on things that have guaranteed success. You know what didn't have guaranteed success? Guardians of the Galaxy. Like, and that's arguably one of the best Marvel movies they came out with. Like,
Facts.
Guaranteed success is such a weird statement. It's to me, it sounds like we're gonna make the same shit, and I'm not trying to watch the same shit over and over again. So that has shown me that they're not really in the business of taking risks. And personally, if you're not willing to take risks, I can't really see something you come out with is gonna be that like jaw dropping. It sounds like you're gonna make some real safe shit and it's gonna be hella bland, and I'm gonna watch it and be like, oh, this is okay, I guess, like, and I'm gonna just keep it moving. I don't want that. I want the shit that's gonna blow me away. If you make a stinker, it is what it is. You gotta crack a few eggs to make an omelet. Like I don't think it's that big a deal, and I don't even think Eternals was that bad. Was it good? No, but I think Eternals was like, if Eternals is as worse as it gets, then you're already ahead of your competition, which is Warner Brothers. Like, you guys are so ahead of the curve, it's not even funny. You can afford to make these bad movies. So I don't know why you guys didn't just learn and just adapt instead of just being like, oh, we're just not going to continue with this. You might as well just reset the whole shit then, because you already lost like your main villain. You might as well just be like, hey, we're going to reset everything. A lot of shit just transpired. We fucked up. Let's change this phase type shit, because I don't know. I'm a little disappointed in hearing that from them.
Here we go. This is my thing. I'm gonna keep this as condensed as possible. Guaranteed hits equal diminishing returns to me in my head. That's what that sounds like to me every single time I hear it in games, in whatever media. Guaranteed hits equals diminishing returns, because you want to go to the same well that got you the money in the first place. But what happens when that well runs dry? What happens when people get tired of that concept? And again, this is guaranteed. There's a certain segment of people that will never get tired of that stuff. They love Marvel movies. It's their bread and butter. You know what I'm saying? They yell like a damn madman every time a 30-second trailer teaser comes on. You know what I mean? Those people will never go away. But eventually, that big base that you've relied upon for years, it will dwindle. People do get tired. I think superhero fatigue is a real thing. You know what I'm saying? Of course, you got to make good movies on top of that, but superhero fatigue is a real thing because of how much shit we're seeing from so many different angles. And that well will not get as big as you want. That well will only get less and less unless you really, really focus on creating good shit first. And that involves taking some risk. If you're showing me, if I get another Thor Love and Thunder, I'm not going to enjoy that as much. No, I won't. Do something different. really try and expand the bar, raise the bar of what you're aiming to do. Because if you're just relying and resting, this is resting on your laurels for me. This sounds like resting on your laurels, in my opinion. If you're going to continue to say, hey, let's just stay in our box, stay in the box of what we know, we won't really stray too far in terms of, you know, narrative sense, the IPs and stuff. Let's just keep it to the big boys. Well, we should be fine. Yeah, you might be fine, but I don't think you'll hit a peak like Endgame ever again. If you're thinking in that mindset, in my opinion, you'll never hit a peak like Endgame. You'll never hit a peak like Infinity War, because the stuff that you built, that was inherently built on a risk. That whole arc is built on a risk. You took a risk on hiring Robert Downey Jr. You took a risk on Iron Man, which most of the world didn't even really know about. You know what I'm saying? Only super, you know what I'm saying, people in the nerd culture did. Like, and you chose him to lead that whole arc. You chose him to do all that stuff. The success of this whole MCU thing is built on risk. It's built on taking a chance. It's built on, you know, people think superhero movies are bad and they're shit. Let's take a risk and just do this thing to really pay homage and see what happens. And you built a phenomenon out of it. And you want to not do that anymore. You know what I'm saying? You see where the disconnect is? You don't want to do the things that got you here. That's where I'm like, that's where the corporate interest, that's where the, you know what I'm saying, you want to retain your money and be as financially, you know what I'm saying, lean as possible. That's where it gets you, that's where it might get you in a bit of trouble, because eventually people are going to want to see quality shit at the end of the day. They want to see good movies. They want to be entertained thoroughly. And if you keep resting on your laurels, that same trick that you're going to keep doing, it's not going to be as effective every time around. And you know what I'm saying, the people that see it day one, they'd be like, you know, last few are the same. I might see it, like, you know, next week. And then that might turn into, I might see when it comes out on streaming or whatever. It might turn into, you know, I'll watch it whenever I get around to it, some point a few months later, because it's happened to people and it will keep happening to people. It's a move that shows, again, just a lack of focus on the quality of the franchise and the quality of the cinematic universe you're trying to keep building on and keep extracting money from, where the quality ain't the same as the peaks that came before. It's real. Damn. I kind of spit right there. I ain't gonna lie, man. Rate this shit 5 stars. Hey, man. Hey, we chefing up. Yeah, we chefing up. Hey, this is some real shit. But anyways, let's move on to the next story here. Listen, y'all. Among Us is getting an animated show. Among Us, you heard me. Among Us is getting an animated TV show, and the cast is kind of star-studded. I'm not gonna lie to you, bruh.
No, it's a really good cast.
So Purple is Ashley Johnson, who voice acted Ellie from the Last of Us games. So she's Purple. Green is, you know, kind of cool actor. Elijah Wood, he's just green. You know what I'm saying? He's green. Randall Park is red. I was about to say, and Yvette Nicole Brown, who you seen her, she's from all over the place, bro. I don't want to bring up Nick shows like that this often, but yeah, she was the manager of the movie theater from Drake and Josh. She's orange, and this shit is, I'm like, this could work. I remember I was talking about this from a while ago, but again, this could work. When, how you feel it?
I think this is pretty interesting. I'm excited to see where they go with it. I think it's going to be pretty funny, and it's a really dope concept, and this cast is really dope. So I don't see this really being a bad show. It's kind of giving me Cuphead vibes, where, like, I don't know if it'll take the world by storm, but if you watch it, you're like, wow, this is kind of a gem. This is really funny.
Bro, I'm trying to recall what we said from last time, but again, this as an animated show automatically has the potential to be a really, really engaging, funny, dope thing. And this is the thing. And it said, like, on the tweet of the cast, it said round 1. You know what I mean? So it's every episode or a few episodes, like a recurring or a rotating cast of characters for their animated show, because that's perfect. I was thinking of, like, each season you do somebody, you know, you do a full cast and then you kind of dwindle them down, like, you know, it's like a murder mystery type thing, of course, because that's the aim of the game. But then every season that cast will change, that cast will shift, and a new killer will be a different color, and, you know, different things will happen in that. It might be a little bit too costly, but that was just the idea in my head and the headcanon I wanted to have of the series. But if you're gonna do episode by episode and you're like, you know, 40 minutes, but each person is a part of this cast and stuff, that is a really good concept. I really love that. Again, just kind of that rotating cast of people you see each time out, and they go through their hijinks, they go through the wild shit, and it's beautiful. I love this. I love this idea. I think this is something that could really, really hit. It's gonna be really enjoyable for a lot of different people watching. I'm sold. They sold me with the cast. They sold me with the idea, but the cast doubled down. I like this. I really like this.
Yeah, no, I think it's really dope.
100, man. Let's go slide on to the next part of the trailer trove here. Listen, live action Watch Dogs movie. A live action Watch Dogs movie is on the way. Apparently, Sophia Wilde, which is in that one the Raka Raka film, Talk to Me, she's apparently set to star. This is interesting. A Watch Dogs film, man. What are you thinking about that?
Does it have to be Watch Dogs? Can it just be a movie about a hacker? Like that's the shit that's kind of annoying to me. It's like, sure, I guess, like, cool. A hacker movie called Watch Dogs. I cannot wait. If it's following the games, I don't know if I really want it. I don't remember walking away from any of the Watch Dogs games being like, damn, fucking riveting story. Like, I thought it was like, oh, this is a cool game. Like, it was a fun game to play. But sure. If this is what I don't mind. I'll watch the hacker movie because that's really what it is,
bro. As long as Tom Holland is not, you know what I'm saying, Adrian Pierce, we're good. I'll be fine, bro. As long as we avoid the fate.
It's
of
more of a Timothée Chalamet role, if you really ask me.
Oh my god, I'm tired of this man. I'm tired. I forgot about Timothée Chalamet too, bro. Oh my gosh, we're not letting this slide. We're not letting this narrative run anymore. It's over. We're done with the whiteys, not the 90s, but this.
We're done with the whiteys. And it's like the SpongeBob voice line where it's like, "Hey, how are you?"
Hi,
instead
hi,
of the
how
little.
are you?
Oh shit.
Stop. But again, out of all the video game properties, again, this is one that's really. You know what we look for, guys. At this point, if you're a long time watcher, you know, you guys you already know what we're gonna say, but we look for how easy this idea is to translate first and foremost into a live action format. If you're new here, like, it doesn't even make sense to even adapt in live action, because if it doesn't, there's gonna be some discrepancies between what we want to see and what that is. But this is, again, really easy. You're a hacker in Chicago, you know what I'm saying, fighting against the law, going outside the law in your own bounds to make some shit shake. Like, that's really, really it. Sophia Wilde, you know what I'm saying, melanated queen on there. I'm with that. I'm with anybody getting the lead role and that type shit. So that's lovely. I like that. I would love to see how they tie into, you know, the rest of the Watch Dogs, I guess, universe in this sense. I actually would like it, only for the fact is I need to see Marcus. The streets need to see Marcus out there. But outside of it, I'm very interested to see how this comes together. The action of it, the hacking of it, I want to see how that's presented. Primarily, again, like the hacking of this, because while it may be, you know what I'm saying, it maybe look a little bit clunky in the gameplay itself for the first game, I always love the application of how hacking could be in that society, and, like, you know, how it could be used in this context. So it could be interesting. It could be pretty interesting. I would really like to see how the action of the game and the highlights of the technology really shine through. You know what I mean? Like, I forget what movie does it really well in an action context. I mean, kind of James Bond, but it's more like the Q segments when you see, like, what he can do, like when he's hacking against I forgot, Silver or something like that in one of those movies. I forget which one exactly, but
I think you're forgetting one of the most important hackers of our generation, Ludacris.
Oh my fucking god!
I don't think you're getting. I'm just saying.
This man.
Ludacris as Marcus. I'm not saying that it would be a good idea.
Ludacris as Marcus is insane. Him with the yo-yo doing parkour. We got Luda doing Nah, all right, man. All right, brother. I'm tired of your suggestions.
Hey, you know, they called me a madman.
Oh my goodness, man. But Watch Dogs, we'll see what's happening. We'll see what's cooking. We will hopefully figure that out eventually, man. On to the next one here. This one was a curveball. This one was definitely a curveball, because we've heard word that Margot Robbie and Kate Herron are set to produce and direct respectively on a live action Sims film. The Sims will have a live action film. When? How do you take this? How do you feel about this?
Who's playing the game? You know,
You
I think
know
that's
what
a
I
big
mean?
question. And, like, Are we talking like? Also, if you don't get Simmers in on this, I'm gonna be pissed. Like,
Facts.
ooh, tomato. Like, if Mira isn't in this movie, I'm gonna
Mira,
be tight.
Ebonics, all them. Facts.
Bro, facts. But a Sims movie, I think would be pretty cool. I think it's like, I like the idea. It could be hella meta, like just like having people like burn. Like, what happened to Jimmy? The ladder disappeared on the pool. It's like, oh, I'm so sorry to hear that.
Oh, they're 100% gonna get that reference.
Yeah, you know what I'm saying? I talked to Death. It's fine now. He's okay, but you know he's still a little shaken up. And it's like, I just don't. It was right there when I got in.
Bro, what's up with Margot Robbie and like being involved in meta movies about like properties? You know what I mean? Like,
I like it because it's a huge step away from where she started, which is like Wolf of Wall Street. So like, I'm not against it, but I think it's really funny.
I think it's funny. She just dipped into this vein. She's like, yeah, I'm gonna stick right
cook
here. Yeah,
like I'm gonna just cook, and she's gonna cook, and that's a pretty cool. It's pretty funny. Like I like that. I like that.
Facts. The streets need to know 2 questions. Actually 3. If there are any herbs involved, we need some type of sensitivity training on set. Can we provide that? Question number 2. Will that one dude who was robbing people's houses in The Sims 2 be in that cast? Because that would be great. I need that. I don't know if you remember the dude. He was like, I think he was like a robber or whatever. I forget his name, but he literally pull up and rob people's houses. He was literally jump in, break in, take people's shit. Everybody screaming in front of him. He just dipped out with people's money banks and stuff.
Yeah.
Funny as hell. Question 3. Will this be in full English or are we adding Simlish into this?
Ooh, if they don't do a Simlish dub, I'm really gonna be mad. Actually, that's a really good point.
Because everything, I mean, in the context of Sims, it's gotta be there in some way. Having a Simlish dub of the movie would be hilarious. That would be fantastic.
That would be really funny.
That would sell a lot of the movie for people in and of itself, in my opinion. Especially like Simmers and people who are familiar with the Sims, they would absolutely like buy into it. Like, there's a Simlish dub, yeah, we gotta watch some shit.
Yeah, like that's it. And you don't even really need to put it on theaters, but like if that's just not on the DVD or in the streaming service, like I don't know, y'all not really trying.
Missed opportunity.
Or unless you reference it in some capacity, like if the beginning of the movie is in Simlish or whatever the fuck, or like maybe you guys are like, we need to go back to a previous save or something along those lines, and they go back to the previous save, and they're talking like similarly, like, oh, actually we went too far back.
Facts.
Or like they're talking in Simlish, and then you see like somebody open up a mod screen, like English pack on, like that would be cool. But man, fuck y'all, hire us. What am I giving you guys free advice?
No Cooldown consultancies in the building, baby. We're in the building. We're here now, bro. Slide them ducats and we'll get you right, bro. All that stuff, man. Like, don't be afraid. And again, they call DI on us, bro. We gonna stop a motherfucker out. That's all I'm saying, bro. They can say whatever they want.
DI, how about you suck these NUTSs? How about that? Mind your business.
Hold this DICK, brother. What the fuck you talking about, nigga? I don't know what they thought this was, bro. Rate this shit 5 stars, man. But nah, The Sims I think would really be. This is one where like, does it translate? Not all the way, but it does mostly because I mean, just a sim of real life. I don't know what the plot would be exactly, but the references would most likely be there. Again, people like a stove is on fire, so people are panicking like shit. They don't get like a you know what I'm saying, a fire extinguisher until it's too late. Like, you know what I'm saying, the pool thing, the death thing. Like, there's a lot of references to be had in this film, but I'm just wondering what the main plot line is going to be. That's for them to sort out, not me, unless you consult us again, slide some ducats. But I'm mildly like keeping an eye on this. I'll mildly keep an eye on this because I want to be. I saw the Barbie movie. I was very amused. It was a very good movie. I was entertained thoroughly. I'm not gonna lie to you. That shit was great. But if The Sims can hit that type of form and that type of vein, I think this is good. It's a good setup. It's a good setup.
I think so too.
Yeah, man. And moving on to the last part of the trailer trove today, we have to talk about The Acolyte. Yes, The Acolyte, Star Wars, a brand new story set about 100 years before the Phantom Menace, talking about, again, a story of, you know, the high points of the Jedi and, you know, the reintroduction of the Sith into society in one way or another, man. Looking really interesting. You know what I'm saying? I'm very, very looking forward to this one, in my opinion. But how did you make this?
This looked pretty dope. I can't believe Star Wars has gone woke.
Oh my gosh! Oh my gosh!
Like, how dare they add like I also think it's really funny because like I just imagine the people who are trying not to be racist to talk about the dark side and then somebody being like, what do you mean by that? You know what I'm saying? Like just watching them sweat profusely.
Can I explain, brother?
But no, in all seriousness, this looks pretty dope. Every time I see Star Wars shit, I'm like, damn, I really need to get back into it. But it's just like I feel like I'm so behind, but Acolyte looks it's really cool, man. Like you see, it's just like the lore is expanding. It's really, really dope to see. I plan on one day really just diving back in. I was a fan of The Mandalorian, and like one thing for sure though, when are we gonna give up the Killmonger cut? When like it's gotta be like it's gotta be planned. I think at this point it's kind of just like a little bit of a signal that like white people give to other white people, like, hey, we added black people, but understand we're still involved in some capacity. Like you see this hair, we wrote that, we made that decision. So
ridiculous.
You know, just letting you know, it's okay. It's okay. You racist. You're gonna like it.
Dog, it's wild. It's wild to me, bro. Yeah, let me just start on that point as well. I promise you guys, it will not hurt to give a black person a different haircut, bro. It's gotten so bad at this point. It's gotten so wild at this point, guys. We do not have to do this. We don't have to give everybody the side swoop like you in a museum and stuff like that, bro. Get me out of these chains. Hey, auntie. No, we don't need it. We don't. Let it go. But outside of that, I like this trailer. I really did enjoy this. Honestly, again, any time period outside of the Skywalker saga specifically, I am here for. Literally. Again, we had our time with the Skywalker stuff. That's hopefully done and dusted now. Probably not, but whatever. I'm excited to see this stuff. Again, 100 years before, again, like the events of Phantom Menace, just to talk about the reemergence of the Sith, and just talking about and seeing in real time how stupid the Jedi are. Like, it's going to be amazing to see all of this happen and then kind of roll on and have all these rolling effects. I got to get my timelines right, because I don't know how old either Darth Plagueis the Wise is. I don't know if he's even in the picture at this point. Palpatine, I don't know if he's even born yet. Like, Palpatine might be born. I don't know how old he is exactly, but I just want to see how all this kind of fits into that lead up, and just, yes, give me more different time period of Star Wars. Give me more different time periods. Take me on a ride, bro. The High Republic era. You know what I'm saying? The old republics. There's so much to dive into here in a very palatable live action format. It's very translatable. Like, we've already done this to one extent. This is what I want to see. The Acolyte is something that I really want to see. And again, the Force, people fighting, action, yes, give me all of it. Give me it, and I'll be fine. I'll be fine. I think this looks really, really good. I'm looking forward to it. And again, to those people who are hating, you know what I'm saying, just because, you know what I'm saying, Star Wars has gone woke, y'all was sitting there with y'all dumb asses for Samuel L. Jackson literally for years and not said a word. But again, now you just want to bring up words and stuff that you don't even know what they mean. So what's happening here? Exactly. Shut y'all asses up. You know what I'm saying? It's a fucking dude holding it's a Wookiee holding a lightsaber. A big ass bear with hair, you know what I'm saying, mad hair all over him, holding a lightsaber, and the black dude is the one point of contention. Like, I don't know if this is realistic, guys. I don't know if this is really. Get that shit out of here, bro. Fuck are they talking about? Man. But outside of that, that's pretty much all the notes we have on the show today. Anything else that we might have missed from this week went easy?
I think I'm trying to think if there was, but I don't think there actually was.
There's just been a shit ton of stuff that's just like popping up randomly. If you haven't, go watch the House of the Dragon season 2 trailer. I'm about to watch that after this is done, and I will not give my opinions on that, because all of them will be positive, and yeah, some of them might not be here for the podcast.
Yeah, no, I need to watch it. I liked the last season, but we will see. If anything, if it's that bad, we'll let y'all know in the next episode.
And honestly, me personally, I doubt it will be. I think it's this.
Yeah, I don't think
we on some heat. We on some heat. Outside of that, did you know that there's an app called Monopoly Go, and that shit spent like $500 million on marketing, just marketing?
No,
bro,
I didn't know that.
Their budget for marketing alone was more than Horizon Forbidden West, The Last of Us Part 2, and all that shit. Bro, that's crazy. That is insane. Cyberpunk 2077 spent about $440 million on their budget, like all their games and stuff like that, everything. And Monopoly Go spent $500 million. $500 million. Mobile gaming. Let's make sure y'all put some respect on mobile gaming's name. That's all I'm telling y'all. That's all I'm saying. Make sure. Honestly, bro, that's wild. But yeah, outside of that, the only other story that I saw was there was like a Battlefield director. He like left EA. I think it was Marcus Leto, and he was like, I don't have anything positive to say about EA, and he just left. That was the only that was one of the only few quotes that he had. He was like that bye. So you know what I'm saying, I think he might join the crew of people who want their $90 back. That's all I'm saying. Type shit.
Hey, you know, we'd love to have him on the podcast if he wants to talk. You know, let us know.
I hear. But outside of that, that's pretty much all the notes I have, man. For this episode, let's get up out of here, man. Let's talk about the closing statements. What you got for us this week?
Make sure you drink your water, play your games, and enjoy life. You know, make sure you step away and interact with the people, with your loved ones.
It's real. That's real, man. Listen, my closing statements for this week is lock in. Like Avatar Aang, like that one dude in the interrogation desk, lock in. There's a lot of stuff that's going on this year, whether it be in your life, your relationships, your workout schedule, all that stuff. With no cooldown, lock in. Because we're on a wild ride, man. Appreciate life. You know what I'm saying? Nobody got tomorrow promised. So make sure y'all do what y'all love what y'all do. And yeah, just enjoy yourselves, bro. There's a lot of games to play, a lot of dope shit that's going around. Please don't be a hater. Don't unnecessarily hate on shit. Sometimes it's good, like Cowboy Bebop and Overwatch 2. Sometimes it's perfectly fine. You know what I'm saying? Sometimes it's great, but don't overtly hate, guys. Just spread love, man. But that's all we got for this episode of No Cooldown Podcast. Again, make sure you go check us out everywhere. Just type in No Cooldown Podcast. We'll be right there. Type it out all social platforms. We should be right there. Make sure you go check out all the exclusive content, the segments, the shorts, everything that's going down. Got some special stuff coming in the pipeline for y'all. Y'all do not want to miss. The summer's gonna be a really hot time leading up to it. We got stuff rolling and going. We're getting closer to like 500 subscribers. And also, I checked the stats. If y'all made it this far, shout outs to y'all. You know what I'm saying? What we gonna comment? If you made it this far, I was about to say, if you made it this far, comment Simlish. I want to know, see if people made it through this far. Comment Simlish, drop in the comment section. But also, if you're unsubscribed and you made it to this point, like 85 or 89% of you are unsubscribed. Hit that damn button, bro. Hit that button. Do it. Just hit the damn button, bro. We got good content for you, man. Stick around. We got a lot of good stuff going on into the rest of this year. You're gonna like it. You know what I'm saying? If you don't like it, well, damn. Still subscribe anyways, but just don't watch it. I guess. I don't know. But with that being said, that's all we got for this episode. And we are out of there. Peace.